Stand up, New York Giant fans. You guys missed a good blooper before the show, but what's up?
That was pretty good. Chris thought we were live. He was ready to go. I said, I haven't started the stream yet, so he's got to practice. You got to practice running there. What is going on, everybody? It is Chris and the Baddog. How you all doing tonight? Obviously, first things first. Yes, anybody that saw that hit on Tua, let's hope he's okay. That was extremely scary. I don't know if I've ever seen that. I don't know if you saw what happened to him, Chris.
I heard about it. I was live on Patricia Traina's channel. I heard about it. I know he got carted off. I didn't see it yet, though.
Yeah, so last week, he kind of had a incident where it's like he couldn't move, like he wobbled, he fell down, he came back in. I don't know why. And then he got slammed down to the ground and his head hit the turf and his hands just like locked up like this. And he couldn't move them. It was an awful sight. So hopefully he's okay. I don't know how the guy cleared protocol when this happened to him on Sunday, and then they turn around and they play Thursday. So hopefully he's okay. I mean, it's all you can hope for is that it's just a concussion and nothing more serious. And not that that's not serious, but that was bad. That was a scary hit. So hopefully he's okay.
I saw Bridgewater came in and he threw a touchdown, so he's keeping it competitive.
What's that? Bridgewater did.
Yeah, they just scored a touchdown before the half.
It's 14-12 going into the half. Gonna be should be a good game. This should be a good game. Miami, I think, is the only them and the Eagles. That's it. There's 200.
Yeah, they're the only two unbeaten teams right now. Yep.
But anyway, we thank you guys for being here. Who we got in here? There's Double A. Adam Oresti is in the house. Jadis Young, diehard Giants fan. Marco AG, Reality, Janice Kyle, KN, Jadis Young, Toba, Joe Shipley, amazing guy, Afghanistan, your dad, Mr. Gutso, Lizzie Loves Lovely, Mike Gorga, Eli L, Mary Walsh, Pee Wee with the dreads. What's up, buddy? Pee Wee. Lakers start on Monday. I'll be ready to rock and roll. Richie MC, LA Lou, Jedi Falcon, Sabrina, Donovan Pill, Rob from downtown. Thank you all for being here. Nick, Commander Manny, Alex, OJ, Kez, Spaz out. Thank you all for being here, guys and girls. And Jake, thank you for super chat, man. I appreciate it. He says, you guys, we'll start with this because I get to be on this, and this is everywhere. He says, do you guys actually think Barkley won't be here after this year? I wanted to get your take on Saquon Barkley since I did a video on this earlier today.
Yeah. And
there's obviously rumors out there. Boomer Esiason said he should, they should consider him, or he could see him going to the Buffalo Bills. Mm-hmm. What is your take on that situation? Would you trade Saquon Barkley? And if you would, why would you? And if you wouldn't, why wouldn't you?
Hey, Saquon Barkley is my favorite player on the team. But I got to think about it from the mind of a GM too when I answer this question. So Barkley's been incredible this year, right? And if you're Joe Schoen, it comes down to this for me for Joe Schoen. One, if there's a deal I can't pass up, you have to entertain it. I mean, you're talking about a player with a short shelf life that's going to be a free agent next year that may not be in your long-term plans as a GM. As good as Saquon Barkley is, you may not feel the desire to pay a running back $15-16 million a year over a 4 or 5 year contract. So I can see both sides of this. I'm not trading Saquon Barkley for what the projected market was going to be for him that a lot of people said going into the year, like a 3rd or 4th round pick. I'm not doing that. Not with the year that Saquon Barkley's having, and not with what I think he could contribute to a team looking to win a Super Bowl. I look around the league. I see the Miami Dolphins, for example. We'll see if Tua comes back, but imagine him in that offense with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. He could be a guy that puts them over the top. You look at the Kansas City Chiefs. You look at the Buffalo Bills. Like, there's a lot of teams where he could be a great fit. So the deal has to blow me away. It has to be. You have to at least start with a 2nd round pick, or I'm finishing the year with Saquon Barkley on my team. But Joe Schoen has to. I think for all the fans just say, "Oh, you got to trade him. You got to trade him. You got to trade him." Look at our weapons right now, Baddog. Look at our weapons on this football team right now. Kenny Galladay's gone after this year. Sterling Shepard's gone after this year. Kadarius Toney can't stay on the field. Wan'Dale Robinson, we still haven't seen yet. So right now we have like the worst weapons in the NFL.
And don't forget Darius Slayton. He won't be on the team next year.
He won't be on the team next year either. And 90% of the fan base seems to want to draft the quarterback next year, right? So if your intention is to draft the quarterback next year, and say we pick 16, 17, you got to trade up to get said quarterback. Say we got to trade, give up a 1st round pick in 2024, give up a second-round pick in 2023 and our first-round pick this year. Let's just say that. We don't have a ton of cap space. So you don't have a lot of opportunity to add weaponry to this football team if you go ahead and do that, right? So now you're talking about taking off the best weapon off this team with a team that was already limited with weaponry to begin with, and you're putting a rookie quarterback into that situation. So it's a tough call for me and what I think Joe Schoen could do, because I could see, and I said on Patricia Trainer's show tonight, under the right circumstances, keeping Saquon Barkley and kind of using him the same way we used Tiki Barber early on in Eli Manning's career for the first 3 years. We focused heavily on the run and we let Eli Manning mature as a quarterback. I feel like he's the type of player that could really help a young quarterback grow, but the contract has to be right. But it's going to come down to how Joe Schoen values Barkley. Is he a guy that he feels he is willing to commit 3 or 4 years to? And if he's not, well, then, yeah, you have to at least entertain trading the guy if you don't feel, if the market's there and there's a really good deal. So it's hard for me to answer. We still got 5 more weeks or so until the trade deadline, and we'll see how it all plays out before then. I'm leaning that we won't trade him, but it's a possibility. If we're 2-5, 2-6, and he's the leading rusher in the NFL and teams are knocking down our door, giving us great offers, it's possible.
Yeah, you pretty much said what I did. I don't want to trade. Some people, I think they just either watch the first 30 seconds of the video or they just read the title and they're like, "Oh, you want to trade?" You like I had people comment on there saying, "I hate Saquon Barkley." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" In the video, I say, "Love Saquon. I don't want to trade him." But like you, I said I could understand why they would. If you don't plan on signing Saquon Barkley long term and you're going to let him walk anyway, and you can get, like you said, a second round pick, it would make sense, because if you let him walk, you're going to get a late third or early fourth round compensatory pick in 2024. So that's the way I look at it. It depends on what Joe Schoen believes is best for the football team, and do they want to rebuild with Saquon Barkley? As you mentioned, we don't have a lot of weapons. Yeah. So do you want to put all that money into one? That's the big thing is, unfortunately for us, we've been left in such a lousy situation because of the previous regimes and 10 years of poor drafting and 10 years of having a really bad team. It's not like we are the Dolphins or the Bills or the Rams or the Eagles, even, where you're set up really good and you have that luxury of being able to pay your running back a ton of money. We have no wide receivers. We have no interior offensive line. We have no inside linebackers. Our secondary's thin. It's unfortunate that we're in the situation that we're in. So again, it would depend on what Joe Schoen believes. There's people that say tag him. Okay, number one, would Saquon Barkley want to play under a tag when he has a big year and could go out and get his money? A running back gets one big window because they come out of the draft, they're in their prime, then they have that second. Running backs start to tail off about the time of 30. They have a very short shelf life.
I'm going to tell you right now, if I'm Saquon's agent and the Giants tag him, I threaten to hold out if you don't trade him.
Yeah, because $10 million.
You got to get your money. You got to get your money.
And I don't blame him, because he's had injury problems. And if he can get a big contract, if he can get 4 years, 72, 75 million with 50 million guaranteed, he's going to want to take that. At the same time, even if he did say, I'll play under the tag, what does that do for the Giants? It pushes it back a year where he'd have another year under his belt, and then you'd still have to give him a contract, because do you really think, like you said, if we go and get a rookie quarterback, we still have to fix the line, and we still got to get wide receivers, and we still got to do this, does Saquon Barkley really make that big of a difference? Does he put us over the edge next year? Is he the guy that molds it all together? That's the issue with tagging him. To me, yeah, $10 million would be great, but does it really help the Giants in the long run? If Saquon had agreed to like a 2-year, $25 million deal, and then he could still get a big contract at 27, that's a different story. But like you said, and like I pinned the comment on that video, that's a tough decision, and I'm glad I don't have to make it. But it is tough.
It's a very tough decision.
So
we'll see. We'll see at the end of the year. We knew that this was going to be a big topic of conversation at the end of the year. I still think it's too early to be talking about it, because we don't know, I guess not in the sense of the trade deadline, because that's probably coming up in 4 or 5 weeks. But in terms of knowing what or thinking what they should do, because for me, I've always said it all along, he's got to play all 17 games before I start talking about contract extensions at the end of the year, because he's had injury problems in the past. And he plays a position where there's a short shelf life. But do I see a possibility of him coming back? Yes, I've said that all along. but it's got to be for the right deal. I'm not giving him an Ezekiel Elliott deal.
Right.
The purpose of keeping him, if I'm Joe Shane, who never drafted the guy in the first place, is to help my young quarterback, to give him something. And a great talented running back like Saquon Barkley can help a young quarterback.
Definitely.
So that's my line of thinking. And we'll see at the end of the year. Do I think we're going to trade him? I don't. I don't think we're going to trade him unless there's
I don't either. Unless they're getting like a first round pick.
First round pick, I think you got to do it, if I'm being honest. But I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah. But I just, like I said, it's obviously Boomer Esiason brought it up. It was interesting. It's something I wanted to talk about. And again, it's just a lot of it has to, like you said, this isn't Madden. You can't just keep all the players you want, not have to worry about the cap and all this other stuff. Like, you do have to think about it as in long term as a GM. What can I get for him? Is he part of the long term future for the New York Giants? Are we willing to build around him? We'll see. Yeah, I mean, if he has a good season and he wants to test the free agent market and somebody offers him a lot of money, and we don't, or he decides to walk, then you've lost everything. Then you are going to end up with just a compensatory pick in 2024. So it's a tough decision, but that's, like I said, that's why I'm on YouTube, and that's why some people on YouTube, and some people on Twitter, and he's where he is.
Joe Shane's in a no-win position with Saquon, because
I agree.
If he signs Saquon and Saquon gets hurt, which is entirely possible, people are going to kill him for it. How did you sign him? And if he lets Saquon go and Saquon goes off and looks great with the Miami Dolphins, which he would, he'll get killed for that. So he's in a no-win. And it's not his fault. He didn't draft Saquon Barkley.
Right.
He's in a no-win situation right now.
Definitely not enviable.
It's a tough spot.
Yeah. L.A. Lou, thank you so much, my friend. Appreciate you. He says the dynamic duo is front and center. Thumbs up. That's right. Hit that thumbs up. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up, man. We almost at 100 likes already. Let's get there. We're like 93. Smash the hell out of that. It's free and easy to do. Appreciate y'all being here. Just getting started tonight. Dan, thank you for the super chat, man. Appreciate you, brother. He says, how about Judge yesterday? That's right. Hopefully he breaks it at home and then we can give him a rest. He says now he needs to break the Yankee American League record this weekend in New York. Also, I know Chris is excited about Braves Mets. That's why we're doing the show tonight, because I texted Chris. I said, hey, man, you want to do the show tonight? Because I know you're going to the game Sunday, and obviously wanted to do the Mets. I didn't know when they played Saturday. So I know they played at night or they played during the day, but I'm like, I know you wanted to do it.
I'm doing that game tomorrow on YouTube for sure. I'm gonna do the Friday game, the Saturday game, and I may do the Sunday game, depending if I have energy, because I'm going to the Giants game, but it's a day game, and it's a night game on Sunday. So We'll see about that. But I already bought my Met playoff tickets. So my plan is I bought a plan with my friend, and it was $500. You get 20 games next year, including opening day, the Subway Series. So I said to him, let's just buy the playoff tickets. We'll sell every other one, and we'll basically get to go to every other playoff game for free, because on the secondary market, they're going to sell for double what we paid for them for face value. So I'm excited. I'm going to get to go to at least hopefully a bunch of Met playoff games, hopefully a World Series game, but really excited for playoff baseball, and really excited for this series coming up tomorrow against the Braves.
Yeah, it's a big one.
Yeah,
that is a big,
as big as it gets, man.
I'll be watching. I'll tell you that right now. Listen, I'll be watching. This is the way I'm going to work this weekend. Is I'll be watching Judge's at bats. The rest of the Yankee stuff, I don't really care. They can win or lose. It doesn't really matter. We've clinched the division. We're not going to catch Houston. We are kind of locked where we are. So I'll be watching Judge's at bats, and I'll be watching that Mets Braves series, because I speak fluent baseball, baby. I am a baseball fan. So that is a great series, and it's going to decide the division, and that's a big deal. You either get the first round bye, you got to play a 3-round wild card round. So
yeah,
that's going to be a great series. Jack, thank you for the $1. Boom. I appreciate it, my man. Dre, thank you for the super chat, brother. Appreciate you. He says, trade for DJ Moore. Got cap space and fits scheme. We can then evaluate Daniel Jones more, and definitely not Saquon in the trade, but like second. I don't know what the Giants are going to do for wide receivers. This week, definitely in-house, but I don't know what they'll do going forward as far as signing guys. It should be interesting. Will Fuller's the guy that I know he's had injury issues, and I mean, he fit right in.
I don't know. Fuller, he's a free agent?
Yeah.
Why is he a free agent?
I just don't think anyone picked him up. Again, T.Y. Hilton's out there as well. their better days are behind them. I mean, that's why we're not going to find a superstar.
No, of
At
course not.
this time. So
Denzel Mims, people have brought up as a
I just know Will Fuller's a fast sucker. He can run like the wind, and it would give us an outside threat, which would be nice. But
Slayton could do that. We just got to use him.
That's true. That's true. Well, I think we're going to use him now. I don't understand why he hasn't seen the field. But
yeah, he showed a little bit last week, but no. I don't think he had any targets.
Yeah, it's weird how the way they're doing stuff. But 2-1, man. Once we get through these super chats, we'll talk about the Dallas game a little bit, and then of course get into the Bears.
The Bears.
LA Lou, thanks so much, man. Appreciate you, brother. He says, I proposed this trade before. Barkley to the Rams for Cam Akers in a second, or maybe a second and a fifth plus Akers. Would you do it? For a second, a fifth, and Cam Akers? Again, it depends on Joe Shane. If Barkley's not in the cards for the Giants past 2023, yes.
Yeah.
If Joe Shane wants to keep Barkley here for the next 4 or 5 years and is willing to pay him, I really think that's what it comes down to.
I am the biggest Barkley fan in the world. I was the first guy to buy his jersey. I'm not going to be upset if they trade Saquon Barkley because I understand why they're doing it.
That was sorry, Chris.
I'm going to be completely fine either way because I do see a lot of value in keeping him as well, especially if we draft a young quarterback. But I can understand both sides of it. So, I went into this saying it's Joe Shane's team now. He didn't draft these guys. I'm going to let him build the team the way that he sees fit. Got to give him an opportunity to do that. So we'll see what happens. But yeah,
that was a horrible throw by Teddy Bridgewater. But I'm in agreement with you, and that's what I said in the video. I would understand it. I wouldn't like it. I love when people are like, why do you hate Saquon?
By the way, you're saying I don't want him to trade Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, I said it right in the video. I'm like, I don't want him to trade him, but I would understand if they did it. But I just love it. Guys like, you hate Saquon. I'm like, man, I bought the man's Color Rush jersey for crying out loud. I don't buy jerseys unless I really like the player.
Yeah.
So he's one of my favorite players on the Giants. It would suck to see him go. It's the only reason to really watch the offense. That and watching Daniel Jones scramble around like he's Bugs Bunny back there. Our receivers are garbage. Our offensive line's terrible. But again, I would understand both ways. Like you said, I'd understand both sides of it. So it's a tough decision. Blake, thank you, my friend. Appreciate it. Says, how do you value Barkley as a potential midseason trade? What would you be willing to give if you were the GM of another team with a hold at running back? If I think I can win the Super Bowl, if I'm the Bills, or like you said, the Dolphins, Chris, depending on Tua's health, obviously, or the Rams, trying to win back-to-back. I could easily see them offering, like LA Lou said, a second and a fifth or a second and a fourth. I think that would be fair for a guy.
And again, we'll have to wait and see what Barkley does over the next 4 weeks or 5 weeks or whatever it is before the trade deadline. Mohamed Sanu got a second-round pick.
Right. It's
true. Got a second-round pick. So if there's a team desperate enough and feels like Saquon Barkley could be that finishing piece
for a Super Bowl,
would I be blown away if a team was able to convince themselves, well, we're going to be picking 28 or later anyway. Let's take a swing at this thing and go for it. No, I wouldn't. I could see it. I could. If Barkley continues to play at the level he's playing, I'm not saying I'd expect it, but I wouldn't be blown away if the Giants got a first-round pick.
Right. Especially if a team, I don't know which teams have a lot of first-round draft capital outside of Philadelphia. We're not trading with Philadelphia. So, but yeah, especially if a team has a couple of picks. I mean, what about a team like Baltimore? I mean, Baltimore could be a team that says, give us Saquon Barkley. Yeah. There's a lot of teams out there that, like you said, Barkley could be the piece that puts them, and the whole goal is to win a Super Bowl. If you give up a first-round pick and win a Super Bowl, it's well worth it for you.
Yeah. I mean, again, I don't even want to think about it because I love Saquon. I don't even, but I've prepared myself for this whole offseason. I knew that it's at least a possibility. I think it could go either way.
Yeah, we talked about that.
I think
because he is a free agent.
Yeah, I think it could. And it's a new GM, and you're talking about a guy that has consistently said he believes in positional value. That's what he said since he took the job. Well, if he does, then he's not going to value running backs very highly. So, but Barkley's not a typical running back either. So that's why it's kind of a gray area. He's a weapon.
It's tough. You don't want us to trade him. he's fun to. It's like Odell Beckham. The difference is Beckham was under contract, and he got a first and a third. Okay, so big difference where we still had control of Odell Beckham at the time, and we may not have control of Saquon Barkley. And again, this depends on if they want to give him a contract, because if Barkley has a big year like he did his rookie season, the guy's not going to want to play under a franchise tag. He's not going to go, yeah, you know what? I've had injury problems. I came off a torn ACL. Let me chance another year instead of getting a big contract. No. And I don't think it'd be fair to him.
Yeah,
it'd be fair to the Giants. I don't know if it'd be fair to him. So
they'll try. They might try that, but I don't. Yeah. It's not. I don't think it's not gonna end well if that happens.
Right. So that's. I mean, he can end up walking, and we could get nothing for him. That's what makes it so tough.
Yeah,
that's what makes it tough. And again, I feel bad for Joe Schoen. This isn't Joe Schoen's mess. Yeah. If Gettleman would have put the team together the way it should be put together, we wouldn't be having this conversation. We'd be talking about how much we're going to give Saquon Barkley.
Yeah.
If he would have fixed that offensive line, we wouldn't be having this conversation.
I hope we keep him. I really do.
I do too. I don't want to let go of Saquon. Man, I love that friggin' color rush jersey. I love the McKinney jersey. That color rush jersey is the baddest ass jersey in the frickin' NFL. Yeah. You know. So I love this. I love that jersey. I don't want Barkley to. I want him to be a Giant. Yeah. John, thank you, my friend. Appreciate it. DJ is improving under Dable Weekly. I'd rather keep DJ and draft a wide receiver 1 inside linebacker
into your offensive line,
or inside offensive line, inside linebackers at the end there.
Oh yeah,
the draft. I would rather finish the year with what we have, no trades. That's a lot of drafts, though. But it's the way you build a team. It's why you can't just turn it around in 1 year.
I'm curious to get the chat's opinion on this, because Giants fans, I don't know. I can't get the pulse of the fans because we shift every week.
We do.
I'm going to give you 2 options. I want to get the chat's pulse, then I want your take as well, Baddog. Let's say the Giants pick 16th in the draft. 16th. I think that's fair assumption. We could be right around there. 7 or 8 wins. Say we're 16th, 17th. What would you rather do? Trade up, because I think you're going to have to trade up. You're not going to stand pat at 16 or 17 and hope that one of your quarterbacks falls to you, especially in a draft where there's a lot of teams looking for one. Mm-hmm. When there were no quarterbacks that won the first round outside of the Steelers. So what would you rather do? Trade the 17th pick, trade your second round pick, and trade next year's first to move up to 6 to get a quarterback? Or let's just say 17, your second, and a future second. Let's say it's not even a future first. Or stand pat at 17, sign DJ to like a Jameis Winston-like contract, 2 years, $28 million. You could easily get out after 1, draft a wide receiver there with that pick, and keep all your future draft picks.
If Daniel Jones is willing to sign a 2-year, $28 million deal, and we're picking mid-round like that, I think that's the smartest thing for the Giants to do. Try to build the offensive line. Obviously, you'd have, but then that's the thing. You're giving Daniel Jones, I mean, that's not a ton, but then then you have to give Barkley money, and then you're there goes your cap. It's hard. They could go line there. They could go wide receiver.
I'm telling you right now, if they want a quarterback, they're not staying at 16.
Right. But what about, see, there's this kid, man, in Washington, and I'm telling you, man, I watch him. I didn't know anything about this guy. Yeah. There's always that guy that jumps up or like wows you. And I watched him play Michigan State, and he smashed him. And then he smashed Stanford. This Michael Penix kid is good. I don't think he's top 10 good. But if that type of guy is there to be had, say at 26, and you could trade back and get more draft capital, I mean, you're taking a chance at that point.
Yeah.
But again, it's I don't know, man. That's why I'm not a GM. These are a lot of things. There's a lot of tough decisions because we're in such a bad situation.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, if Daniel Jones is willing to go 2 years, $28 million, I would probably ride with Daniel Jones. I probably would, because
rather than trade,
we can't get our quarterback, I would probably ride with him, and then I would try to bring in pieces to either see if he can improve again over the course of the next year and get out after 1. And if he sucks, then we get our
Well,
quarterback.
yeah, then what you could say is the next year, if you get a number one wide receiver and you sign a guard or you draft a guard,
Right.
you say to yourself, all right, now I could trade away a ton of draft capital because now at least I have some pieces for this
Yeah.
guy to step in and be more successful. But I don't know, because obviously Kenny Golladay hasn't worked out. Tony doesn't look like he's going to, like, what are you going to be offering this rookie quarterback, especially if
Right.
you have to trade away all that draft cap? So we'll see at the end of the year where we're
Yeah.
picking.
It's
See at the
tough.
end of the year where we're picking. We'll see at the end of the year.
I'll say this. I'll definitely take Daniel Jones back next year, and then we can draft Caleb Williams in 2024. I'm good. That's what I'm talking about. No, but yeah, if Daniel Jones is willing to sign that type of deal and not these massive franchise,
Well, he's not going to be able to sign a massive deal.
Yeah, but still, I mean, even a lousy deal for quarterbacks, like $30 million a year, $28 million a year.
You're not doing unless he bowls
Yeah,
out.
no, that's what I'm saying. We might not, but somebody might give him.
Yeah, well, then you go. Then you just sign another guy. But.
Yeah. So it's tough.
Yeah.
Blake, my friend, thank you for super chat. He says, I don't understand the sign this wide receiver argument. This is 1 year of rebuild. We need to fix the cap. Then we could talk about roster upgrades. The whole reason we're talking about signing wide receivers is because we don't have any. That's why. I mean, we lost Shepard for the year, so who replaces Shepard? I mean, they could bring Alex Bachman back, but the guys we're talking about, Blake, are not going to cost a lot of money. You're not bringing in Will Fuller's not going to cost you $10 million. He might play for the league veteran minimum, whatever that is. I don't think it would be.
Yeah, Blake. These are the guys that they're just guys that are going to be on the team this year. It's not going to.
Yeah,
not going
to it's just to fill a roster spot. They're
like,
not going to be the future.
When we signed Devontae Freeman, when Barkley
right
when we or what's his name, the guy the running back that was with Washington and then he was with the Cowboys. What's his name? Morris. We signed him briefly.
Right.
We had after we had all those injuries, so it would be something like that, like a filler for the rest of the year.
Yeah, that'd be tough. Anthony Razza, grazie paisano, says, Baddog got Knicks ice cream. Chris, you need a pie company and get some a la mode action going. There you go.
Maybe, Anthony, man. That's a good
go. That'd be nice. Yeah, man, Knicks is the best. There is no doubt about it. You got all kinds of Knicks stuff. You right in the promo, man. Rocky Road, right? Look at this. Triple chocolate. I mean, I eat all these. I eat all these things. What else we got here? Peanut butter, caramel, and of course, my favorite, butter pecan, right up there with the campfire s'mores. I got all those. They got ice cream bars. And if you looked at my Instagram post today, I took a shot of the mint chocolate chip, which is absolutely fantastic. Made by Knicks, 280 calories in a pint. Ben & Jerry's, 900 calories a pint. Wow. Same thing. 3 times the amount of fat, less protein. That's why Knicks is the best. If you want ice cream and you're wanting a better for you ice cream, Knicks is the way to go. While we're doing the sponsorship, so let's just do this one too. My bookie, you guys want to bet on the games this weekend. It might be a little bit too late to bet on this one, but you want to play some parlays, play some, prop bets or straight bets, and you want to have fun this weekend with college football, of course, basketball start up, baseball playoffs, whatever you want to bet on. MyBookie.ag makes it really easy to do. You just go to MyBookie.ag and they will double your first deposit all the way up to $1,000 as long as you use the promo code BADDOG. That's the way it sounds. BADDOG, all one word. But they will double up your first deposit. So if you deposit $200, you get $400 to play with. MyBookie.ag makes it easy to win. Go there, win some damn money. If you really want to win some money with MyBookie.ag, you just bet against everything that I say with the NFL, and I guarantee you will cash in. That's it.
There you go.
Shout out to the sponsors for sponsoring the channel. I appreciate it. Giants champions, thank you for the super chat. He says, do you think we get a number one receiver like AJ Brown? I hope so. I don't know who's out there.
Well, Calvin Ridley, people have brought up. He's a pending free agent. Of course, he sat out this year. I haven't really looked. I haven't looked at the potential free agent wide receivers. Of course, we could also trade for one, but if we plan on getting a quarterback, you're probably not looking to trade draft capital because you may need it to trade up for a quarterback. So we'll see. We'll see. It could be in the draft as well. I know that they got the one great receiver from Ohio State coming out, but that's going to be really early in the draft. We'll see. But I definitely think that's something we're going to address. I just don't know where we're going with it.
Yep, I agree. Luke, thank you for the super chat, brother. Appreciate it. He says, now that Shep is injured, is it time for Slate? I don't know why Slayton hasn't been out there, to be honest with you.
I think he's going to be this week. I mean, we have no choice but for him to be out there
We
this
really
week.
don't. We really
You know?
don't. But then again, Kenny Galladay's not out there either.
You know?
Kadarius Toney didn't practice again today, so don't expect him on Sunday.
No, Nick, I know he's suspended for the year. But I'm talking about next year.
Who? Oh, Ridley?
Yeah, Calvin Ridley.
Yeah. Brandon,
go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, Brandon, thank you, my friend. Appreciate it. Commies versus Cowboys. The Cowboys should. Man, the Eagles sacked Wentz 9 times. Wentz is in trouble.
Yeah, I'm taking the Cowboys in that game. Cowboys defense is legit. I'm taking the Cowboys.
Yeah, the Cowboys. Carson Wentz, like I said, Carson Wentz in for a long, long day on that one. I think the Cowboys will take that. Tommy, thank you, my friend. Appreciate it. He says, Bad Dog, we need to make sure it's with Tony's face. And the caption reads out due to heavy flow. You need to trademark that. Yeah, we dying. I like to try to bring as much levity to the situation as I can, man. And it's just frustrating. It's just really frustrating with him. Like I said, every week it's something else that just seems to hold the guy off the field. And again, I don't know how injured he really is. It's just it's extremely ironic that there's guys that have like broken bones and torn ligaments and they can't play.
Yeah.
And then you got good old KT who's my hamstring, oh, my shoulder, oh, my back, oh, my head, oh, my period's heavy. That's all. I got a hangnail today. Oh, my hair, my eyebrows ain't on fleek today. I need to take a day. Like, I don't know what his deal is. And that it's extremely frustrating. But
I'm gonna tell you right now, though, I just thought about it. With Ridley, I was just thinking about it. I had to double check. I think there's a good chance he's a Giant. He went to Alabama, which Brian Dable coached him there, or he was part of the coaching staff while he was there. So there's a connection there. I wouldn't be surprised at all if the Giants sign Calvin Ridley this year. I don't know what his market's going to be, being that he had to sit out a year, but it makes sense. It's a pressing need for the Giants, and
it is.
I could see it. I could definitely see it.
Yeah, well, they'll be getting rid of Galladay, and they'll save $6 million. They're gonna have to eat a lot of dead cap, but they'll save it. They won't lose it. At least they'll save $6 million, and they can put that towards one of the receivers. It's obvious they do not want Kenny Galladay on this team, and with good reason why. So Burrow's going deep. Man, it was on its own. Jonathan, thank you, my friend. Appreciate you, brother. He says to keep Barkley and expect to sign him to a team-friendly deal is naive to me. I trade him and hope to re-sign him in the offseason. The only thing I'd say about that is, Jonathan, I do believe that if the Giants trade him, it would be a trade. Like whoever took him would probably sign him. But you never know.
No, we're not signing him. If you trade him, we're not signing him back.
Yeah.
Like if Saquon Barkley gets traded to the Dolphins, we'll just say, and they make the playoffs and he looks great in that scheme.
Yeah, they're going to keep him.
Why would he want to leave? Why would he want to go back to the Giants?
Right.
So
exactly.
If we trade him, he's not coming
back.
And
we would still have to pay the guy, so you might as well just pay him anyway, you know?
Yeah.
So
if we trade him, he ain't coming back.
Yeah. It's a tough situation, man. It's like I said, Joe Shane, those guys took over a really rough spot with us.
Yeah.
Blake, my friend, thank you, brother. Really appreciate this. Barkley has a young daughter and is highly intelligent. He won't stay unless the Giants break out the checkbook. It's his only shot at a big payday. That's my deal.
You'd be an idiot not to.
Yep, he would be, because again, he's had injury problems. Does he really want to say, "Oh, I'll chance another year under the franchise tag at $10 million"? Probably not. It wouldn't be smart for a business sense. Would you? Let me ask you this: if you were Saquon Barkley, would you guys say, "I'll play for a tag of $10 million if another team offers me 4 years, $75 million"?
And
with $50 million guaranteed.
Let's not forget, for anybody that thinks that Barkley may be friendly, Barkley clearly came out, was pretty direct. He was pissed at the way that some of the Giants fans treated him and said that he was a soft. And if you're Saquon, I don't think he's going to show any hometown discount. I'm not saying he doesn't love being here. He probably does. But he's not gonna show any kindness out of his heart. He's gonna want what he feels like he's worth to getting paid. Yeah. And if a team's willing to give him that, he's gonna take it.
Agreed. Depressed Giants fan. Thank you, my friend. Appreciate it. DJ played amazing against Dallas and their stacked front seven. You think if he keeps playing like he is, we keep him. I think we should tag him. I know you were here earlier. Chris mentioned that if he took a Jameis Winston type of deal for 2 years, like $28 million, I think that makes sense. We could get out of the contract after 1 year. Tagging him is going to cost like 31
I don't want to
million.
tag him.
So I don't think they would do that.
I'd even be willing to go 3 years, 75 million if it only meant 20 million was committed to next year's cap. And then I
Right.
can get out for a small cap hit similar to the Carr contract because it like with little guaranteed money similar to Carr.
Right.
Before I go with franchise tag, because franchise tag
Yeah.
you're committing $32 million and you can't move the money around at all.
Right.
And
And
so
we don't really have to. We'll have like 55 million
I
before
don't, I
if they
don't,
restructure, they cut
yeah,
guys.
I don't
Whatever.
want a franchise tag.
That is a lot of our available cap. So
Yeah, I don't want a
it
franchise
would be tough. And again, what's really tough about for Daniel Jones is, he's throwing to David Sills and Richie James, and this Daniel Jones isn't their guy. If he was, they would have already given him a 5th-year option for 21 million or whatever it was, 23 million. So I don't know. JDM says Penix is the best college quarterback. I'm telling you, man, if you guys have not watched Michael Penix at Washington, I was talking to a kid in the gym today about that because he was a Giants fan, and he's like, I never heard of him. Like, watch him.
Yeah.
I'm like, watch him. He's flying under the radar because he plays at Washington. He doesn't have all the, he's not at Ohio State. He's not at Alabama. He's better than Will Levis. I can tell you that. I don't know if I'd say that he's better, than Bryce Young or CJ Stroud. But I definitely think he's better than Will Levis and Anthony Richardson. I think he's the 3rd best quarterback that I've seen. And I really like him. He has really grown on me. So now Washington plays late, which is great. They played the Pac-12, so I can watch all the other quarterbacks, and then I could just sit back. My wife and son will be sleeping. I could sit back and just watch a kid play. He's really good, though, man. He's really good. I don't know how far up he'll go as far as draft stock. I mean, he could be the kid that's like Joe Burrow that comes out of nowhere. Now, Washington's probably not going to win a national title, but they're not a bad team at all. Washington, UCLA, not UCLA. Washington, USC will be a really good game if they meet in the playoffs. Jonathan, thank you, my friend. Appreciate it. He says, I pass in any deal to move up to draft a quarterback for one reason only: too many holes. Can't mortgage a future for a quarterback when the team isn't ready. It'll be a repeat of DJ's situation all over again.
Yeah, I mean, the only way you do it, you have to be completely convinced that this guy's going to be the next Josh Allen. If you're willing to give up all that, and listen, if they feel that way, I'll be all right. You better be. If you're going to give up all that draft capital when we have as many holes as we have, so it'll be interesting. I mean, who knows? Maybe we'll be picked at 5th. Maybe this team completely falls apart. Hopefully not. But that's why it's hard to speculate right now.
Right. Yeah, it's true. We'd be in the playoffs if they started today.
Yeah.
Mike, thank you, my friend. Appreciate it. Our wide receiver room is the worst in 30 to 40 years. For what we're paying them, you're right. It's bad. We have the highest paid wide receiver room, and we're playing Richie James and David Sills.
And they can't get on the field.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We're playing like the 5th and 6th string practice squad guys over Kenny Galladay and Kadarius Toney. It's pretty crazy. McKinley, thank you very much for the super chat. Appreciate it. Says Kayvon didn't show up. All those moves didn't even get close to the backfield. Wow, what a catch by Tyreek Hill. To make a sack or tackle for a loss. I mean, a couple of things. He's coming off an injury. It was his first NFL game, and he was like on a snap count. So I'm not going to kill the guy for like half a game. He played like half the snaps. I think he played like 20 snaps, 25 snaps. He did deflect the pass, I thought.
He did. He deflected
but nobody got close to Cooper Rush, unfortunately. So Dallas did a good job of picking up every blitz and protecting him. And I think he'll have a better game this week.
It was Kayvon's first game back, coming off an injury. He's probably not in the best of game shape yet. Didn't have Leonard Williams in the lineup either, which I think had a huge impact on our overall defense.
Huge, indeed.
So, and he's not going to have him this week either. He's a rookie. Like, I understand people saw Micah Parsons last year and they're like, oh, that's what I want this guy to be right away. Like, you got to give this guy a little bit of time. Come on, guys.
Yeah. He doesn't have a DeMarcus Lawrence next to him.
Yeah.
That helps. Big Daddy, thank you, my friend. Appreciate it. There's a bunch of wide receivers and OCs in this draft in rounds of 1 and 2. I mean, it depends on where they're picking. It really does.
Yeah.
And what they do with the I don't know, man. It's like we're in September still. We'll have to see how the season plays out. Obviously, it depends on what they do in free agency. So it's always tough to try to peg the draft this far out. But we definitely need pretty much everything at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, except for maybe outside pass rusher and a safety.
Tackle.
Right. Yeah, right. Tackles. We should be good.
Corner we need. Safety we probably going to need because we're probably not going to keep Love.
Right.
We need every position except for tackle and edge right now.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of needs. We definitely do.
Yeah. Middle Maniac says Calvin Ridley didn't need to go to my bookie. No, he should have went there and he wouldn't have gotten any problems. Ayub, thank you, my friend. Appreciate it. He says, Chris, that's why we have to lose enough games to avoid that scenario. We desperately need a new quarterback to bring hope to the fans. DJ reeks of former regime.
That's all well and good, but the Giants aren't going to intentionally lose football games, Ayub.
No.
Like, I don't get it. It's not going to happen.
Oh, DB from EP told me that you're right. Kadarius Toney doesn't have eyebrows. I got enough eyebrows for him, but I forgot he didn't have eyebrows. Good call. Well, then his eyebrows definitely aren't on fleek. Maybe that's why he's out. He's trying to grow them back. I don't know. Blake, thank you, my friend. Appreciate you. He says DJ played amazing against Dallas. Our definition of amazing is much different, clearly. Yeah, somebody said he played amazing. Listen, I thought that he played well. He got hurried 25 times. That is the most any quarterback's been hurried since they started keeping that stat. I don't know what else Daniel Jones could have done. Did he miss? Daniel Jones' biggest problem is he won't take shots down the field. He doesn't take chances down the field. That is his big, and he doesn't scan the field. Listen, the same things that he's been doing for the first 4 years, he's still doing them. I did feel like he moved out of the pocket better than I've seen him his entire career against Dallas. He got sacked, 5 times? Like I said, he got hurried 25 times. I mean, I feel like last year, Daniel Jones would have been sacked 12 times. He rushed for 91 yards or something like 71 yards.
79.
So was he great? No.
I mean, based off the circumstance, I think he was pretty great. If I'm being honest. Like, I know like he didn't throw 4 touchdowns, but he had very similar circumstance to what Pat Mahomes did in the Super Bowl, where he scored 9 points. Like, there was nothing. Like, there were no wide receivers. We couldn't block to save our lives. Going up against the defense that kept Tom Brady to 170 yards in the air and kept Joe Burrow 160 yards in the air. Like, he had nothing in that game. So I don't know what more you could have expected out of him last week. I'm not saying Dan Jones is a franchise quarterback. I don't think he is. But based off the circumstance last week, I thought he showed a lot of grit. I think he showed a lot of toughness. And he was the only reason why we were in that football game.
Right. I agree. I saw Blake said Penix choked a lot of games away at Indiana. Well, Indiana's a different animal, but it doesn't really matter what they did last year. It only because Joe Burrow was a nobody till his final year at LSU. And that usually happens. Guys step up. Baker Mayfield was a walk-on at Oklahoma. Kyler Murray came from Texas A&M, and some guys just don't make it in certain spots, and they transfer, and they end up being really good. I just watch Penix play, and I like what I've seen. It's only been 3 games, but I don't think he's a top 10 quarterback, but if we're picking 17th and we can maybe trade back and Penix is there at 25, who knows? Again, it'll depend on what they like and what they see, but I kind of like, but a lot of Giants fans like Malik Willis. I think Michael Penix is better than Malik Willis. So we'll see. Andrew, thank you for the super chat. I have seen Hendon Hooker at Tennessee. I'm not a
I've heard of him. I haven't seen him. I've heard.
We just call him Hendon Ho for short. But, yeah, he's. I have seen him. He's all right. I mean, I'm not. Again, I don't think he's a first-round quarterback, but it's early in college football too. You never know. He may blow it up. But Tennessee is definitely as good as they've been in years. It's been a long time since Tennessee, but we'll wait until Tennessee plays some real competition in the SEC. And we'll figure it out. Diego, thank you, my friend from Mexico. He says, keep an eye on the quarterback from the Gators. He looks good. See, I am not an Anthony Richardson guy. I do not like Anthony Richardson. I didn't like him last year. I don't believe he's thrown a touchdown this year.
Well, he did. He finally did last week.
Okay, so it took him forever to throw a touchdown. I'm just not a fan. I have not been a fan of Anthony Richardson. This is just my take on it. So, take that for a grain of salt. I'm just a guy on YouTube. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, he's got a long way to go, in my opinion, so far. I mean, I didn't watch last week. I know that was supposedly his best week. I watched his first 3 games. First game, he impressed me. I said it on Twitter. He impressed me. He looked good. But the last 2 games before that, he did not look good at all to me. So he's got potential, but he's got a long way to go, in my opinion.
Again, wait till he plays a team like Georgia, and
well, that's what I think. That's when we're going to see.
Yeah,
that's what we're going to see.
Danny Dimes Burner, thank you. My friend says my real name is Rob. Think KG gets PT.
He's got no choice but to get playing time. We have no wide receivers.
Yeah, I don't know.
How does he not?
I don't know why he's not anyway. Well, I mean, you watch him drop the pass. This is incredibly frustrating.
To see the Snapchat
it doesn't matter if he drops pass or not. The guy's getting paid $72 million. We don't have wide receivers. The guy should be playing. I can't stand him, but what else are you going to do? What other options do we have?
Yeah, I'm trying to. They don't have it updated, at least on this side. Oh, there it is. Let me see the percentage of snaps that he played week 3. Yeah, he still only he played 33%, which is an uptick from 3% the previous week. He had 24 snaps.
Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm looking at the other receivers. Shepard played 81%. He, of course, got hurt at the end. Richie James played 74%. Sills played 62%. Yeah. And then he played 33%.
Big Daddy, thank you, my friend. He says wide receiver Quentin Johnson and center John Schmitz are my guys.
In the draft next year, I guess? Yeah.
I don't know anything about John Schmitz. I really just been looking at the quarterbacks. I really haven't looked at any other position because I just feel like that's where we're going. Obviously, depending on how things work out this year. But if we don't make the playoffs, I would assume we're going quarterback. Jared, my friend, thank you, brother. Where do I find Nick's Ice Cream in Long Island? So usually, I don't know what kind of grocery stores you have down there. Like up here, we have something called Hannaford. We have Price Chopper. We have ShopRite. They're in all those grocery stores. I mean, it's different flavors and stuff, but it's there. You can also go to Knicks.com. It's more expensive on the website, and it's because they ship the stuff with dry ice, and that costs a fortune. That's why it costs more on the website. It's like half the price in person. But the best thing to do, Jared, if you go to Knicks.com, there's a thing at the top that says like shop or stores near me. It's something like that. And if you click the stores section of that website, it'll show you the stores that carry the Knicks ice cream in your area. And it should show you the flavors that they have there. That's how I figured out where I want to go to get. It actually said they had buttered pecan at ShopRite, and they didn't, which I was disappointed. But I got campfire s'mores, which is my second favorite flavor. So, but that's how you find your Knicks ice cream. And you will not regret it.
Chris Kyler just said Walmart has it on Long Island. So there you go.
Oh, there you go. Perfect.
Yeah.
I try to avoid the Walmart just because it's big. I just like to get in and out of a store. I try to avoid the Walmart. I go to Target. I try to, plus Walmart's a lot farther from me. Target's right there. So, Jonathan, my friend, thank you, brother. Mets calling up Francisco Alvarez.
That's awesome. I didn't even know that. So I guess for the final 6 games, a late call up. I didn't even hear about that. So maybe he'll make the playoff roster. Could be a DH for the playoffs.
I see Nick real quick before I get to the super chat. He says thoughts. Sam Hartman's not bad. Again, I don't know if Sam Hartman from Wake Forest is a first round guy. I forget the first game he played. I thought he was going to throw for like 800 yards. I forgot who they played. He's not awful, but I don't think he's worth a first round pick. But I'd have to see more from Sam. It's not like I watch a ton of Wake Forest football, but I did watch Sam Hartman play that first week, and he was pretty good. So definitely another guy to keep an eye on, but I don't think he's a first round guy. Gavin, thank you for the super chat, brother. Appreciate you, my man. He says, hope if you didn't have hope when we were up 13-6 against Dallas, you aren't cheering for the right things. Cheer for the boys in blue. Well, I just wanted our defense I thought, Gavin, at that point, if we would have stopped them on defense, I felt like we were going to win the game.
When we were up 13-6, I thought we were going to win.
Yeah. I thought the defense could get a stop. Burrow was going deep, got a man. It's Tyler Boyd down to the 6th.
Even at 13-13, I still thought we were probably going to win the game. Once I saw them go down the field for 89 yards, then I thought it was over, obviously. But yeah, I definitely thought we were going to win at 13-6 for sure.
Blake, thank you, my friend. Appreciate you, brother. Tibbs not in game shape. Look at his Instagram post. That's why you limited snaps. You know, I say this a lot, man. People kill me for my opinions. They tell me I'm negative and all this stuff. But there's so many people that kill. They kill they're calling rookies a bust after like 20 snaps.
Yeah.
Like, that's, to me, that's negative. Like, I give the guy a chance. If he sucks for 2 years, yeah, then I'm going to get on their case. But I have a feeling Thibodeau is going to have a good week this week. We'll see. Like I said, if it's a repeating pattern, if he's injured or nagging injuries, can't get in the field, not making an impact after a first full season, I'm still not going to label the guy a bust. But then you're like, did we mess up? Then you start to question it. But I got to give him more than 20 snaps before I'm killing the guy. You know?
I'm giving the guy at least 5 games. I'm giving the guy some time.
Yeah, we got to give him some time. Lib Hunter Z, thank you, my friend. Appreciate you, brother. He says, what do you think should happen to the Miami coach if it's found out Tua had a concussion last week? I don't think it's a coach's decision. I think that's a medical staff. So the medical staff, I believe, would have some things to answer for, because I'm pretty sure the medical staff would report to the head coach and say he's good to go. I don't think the head coach gets to make that decision when it comes to concussion protocol. I could be wrong. I'm not sure how that works, but I thought the medical staff, or like the NFL, has to clear him. I thought.
Yeah, I'm not going to put that on the coach. He has to pass test, and if the doctors say he's good to go,
yeah,
the coach said, he's going to have trust in those doctors. So I'm not going to put that on the coach.
Yeah, I don't think anything happens to the coach. Steve-O, my friend, thank you, brother. What games you guys plan on attending this season? And would you attend an away game?
Now we'll see. I haven't fully committed to it yet because the hurricane. So I don't think it's going to hit us last I checked. But if it's like pouring rain that day, I'll put it off. I'm going with my brother, though. I already told him I'll wait till Saturday to see the weather report. But pending that there's not a ridiculous rainstorm that's going to hit us on Sunday, I'm going to be there against the Bears.
There you go. Yeah, I planned on going that. Now I don't have any plans because, like I said, this is the second time I've had to freaking back out when I was like, I plan on going to a game. So until I actually have bought the tickets, I'm not saying I'm going to a game. I do want to go to a game this year. It might be later in the year, which I hate because I don't like the cold. I have to talk to my brother-in-law because, again, I don't like driving down there. So I always say, listen, man, I'll pay for the hotel room, you drive, because the hotel room's pricey, but it's worth it to me. I'm like, you pay for the hotel, or I'll pay for the hotel, you drive down there. It's all good. I don't like driving through there. I hate it. I don't like driving because I have road rage down there. It's awful. So an away game, I would love to, but again, with a wife and kid, it's difficult for me to attend an away game.
Yeah.
If I did, it would be like Washington. It'd be something close.
Pretty close.
I ain't going there. They'd kill me if I showed up there. They'd kill me. Although Lord Brunson's like, nah. He goes, they wouldn't mess with you if you were with me, which I appreciate.
And yeah, I saw Ricardo. Yeah, it's true. The Mets called him up, Francisco Alvarez. Anybody that doesn't know why I'm excited, he's not just the number one prospect in the Mets farm system. He's the number one prospect in all of baseball. Mm-hmm. So could make a big difference in the playoffs at the DH spot. So I'm excited about that.
Richard, my friend, congratulations on your Cowboy victory. I can't believe the Bengals are kicking a field goal, not going for this touchdown. I can't believe it, but that's what they did.
Wait, what happened?
But they kicked a field goal from the 2-yard line. They kicked a 19-yard field goal instead of going for a touchdown.
I guess with Tua not playing, maybe that makes some sense.
I guess. Richard, thank you for the final. Boom. Appreciate it, my friend. Tutto, grazie, paisano. Grazie. Brilly. He says, massive salute, Baddog Talkin, and for all the dire Giants fans in America. Slap the losers, and F the cowards all day and all night. Tudo will be at the link this year, January.
And Tudo always shows up at the link.
He shows up at the link with a bunch of guys, and they don't mess with him. They probably know better. But I wouldn't mess with him. Blake, thank you for the super chat, brother. Really appreciate it, my man. He says, give Thibodeau a couple weeks to get his cardio right. He was limited to just upper body workouts until literally game week. Yeah, I mean, that's something a lot of people probably overlook, Blake, is that you have to get in football shape. You can do practice as much as you want. You can lift weights. You can do cardio. But it's not a football game. You know,
Right.
you're using different muscles when you're actually in a football game, an actual game. Speed's different. Everything's different. So you have to get in game shape. And I agree. I think the same thing with Azeez Ojulari. You know, he didn't do much either. We didn't call 51 very often. I give these guys time. And again, remember, they got to get acclimated to Wink's system in a game. So we're going to give him some time. I'm not gonna wreck the guy yet. I'm not gonna wreck the guy yet. Patrick, thank you, brother. Appreciate it. He says some people calling Neal a bust probably said the same thing about Andrew Thomas' rookie season. It's early.
It's too early to call any rookie a bust, especially at a position where it's one of the hardest positions to transition to into the NFL.
Especially when he moved positions. He moved to the other side of the line, so it's difficult. The one thing I'll say about Andrew Thomas is people are probably more likely to call him a bust because Gettleman drafted him, and that he had a bad track record. Draft pick. So that's probably why people went that, pushed him. I mean, even after week 3, I was questioning. I said, I didn't say he was a bust, but my God, did we miss again? Didn't realize he was dealing with a foot injury. Didn't realize all the crap that was going on with the offensive line in Colombo and the fact that they were telling him to do something completely different, than he did at Georgia. So there's a lot of things that go on about it. So there's no way that I'm not going to give Evan Neal more time. We got to let him pan out. See, we knew this offensive line was a work in progress, so
he's gonna be fine. I'm not even worried about Evan Neal. He's gonna be fine.
Yeah, Robbie, thank you, my friend. Appreciate you. Say what you want about KG, but can't stand seeing Sills. Yeah, Sills hasn't been good, man.
And I'm gonna. By the way, I just see K. He said no one said that about AT. His tape was good in college. No, that's completely false, K. Go back and look. Everybody called Andrew Thomas a bust.
Oh, yeah. People were saying there's a bust.
Eric Flowers. Even after his first year, he had a tough game against the New England Patriots in preseason. People were saying, I remember Louis Riddick went on ESPN and killed the Giants.
Yeah, I remember that too.
Everybody was saying he was the worst tackle in the draft class for the first round pick. So no, Andrew Thomas had a ton of scrutiny first, not just his first whole year, going into his second year, he was getting destroyed.
Yep. Yeah. Kevin, thank you, my friend. Mets just called up Alvarez. Yeah, we talked about that a little bit.
Let's go, Kevin.
It's in time for the Braves, baby. It's time for the Braves. L.A. Lou, thank you, my friend. He says, you watch Pac-12 football? I don't watch Pac-12 football, Lou. Just Washington and U.S. I watch USC for obvious reasons. Caleb Williams. And, of course, I root against Lincoln Riley, as I should. But I do not watch UCLA at all. If I watch a Pac-12, like I said, I only watched Washington because I had put money on Michigan State and I lost. Washington killed them. Michigan State looks terrible. They're a terrible team this year. But then I saw Michael Penix play and I'm like, oh, I want to watch him play against Stanford. And that's, kind of how I got hooked on Oklahoma, was because I wanted to watch Adrian Peterson play. And I'm not going to be a Washington fan, but I will watch Washington because of Michael Penix. And I watch USC, and I never watched USC either, but because Caleb Williams is there, I'm watching them for like the players. So I don't know anything about UCLA. Like I don't watch Cal. I don't watch Oregon. I don't watch Oregon State. Like I really don't pay attention to. I watched Oregon get lambasted by Georgia week 1, but that's it. So I really don't have an opinion. I don't know much about them, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I don't know anything about it.
Definitely watch more Pac-12 than I have ever before. Giant Eternal, thank you, brother. He says, Stella, guys, Philly loves you, man. I'm sure they do. If losing is not an option for good draft picks, how will the Giants accelerate to being good again? If not, how to fix it? Our GM's got a tough job, Johnny.
Listen, the coaching. That's the first step. You got to find coaches that get the most out of your players. So Dable's a big step in that. If he's a good coach, he's going to be a big step in turning this team around. Not everything in football is about getting the top 3 draft pick. The Giants have. That's why I laugh when people say, "Oh, you got to tank, you got to tank, you got to tank, you got to tank." Baddog. 2017, the New York Giants picked 2nd. 2018, the New York Giants picked 6th and 17th. 2019, the Giants picked
and 30th.
Yeah, and 30th. 2019, the Giants picked 4th. Or no. Yeah.
That was a 6, 17, and 30.
2020, rather, they picked 4th.
Yep.
2021, they picked 11th. This year, they picked 5th and 7th. We've had top 10 picks every year.
Yeah.
So, no, to me, it comes down to getting the right coach in here to get the most out of the players, instill a culture, and start getting this team turned around. Like, the worst teams always pick inside the top 10, and they don't get out of it because they don't know how to get the most out of their players and build a football team properly. So, it's a lot more to it than just getting a top 5 draft pick. You need a GM that picks well in the 3rd, 4th, 5th round.
Yeah.
Football's a team game. It's a 53-man sport. Making good free agent acquisitions, but most importantly, having the coaches that could get the most out of those players' talents.
Yeah. I completely agree. And that's the thing with these guys. They're going to want guys that fit their scheme. They're going to want guys they feel they can get the most out of with the play calling that they do. So that's maybe, Kenny Galladay's probably not long for this. Remember, none of these guys in this team outside of their draft are guys that they took. Now, we took some guys on the interior offensive line for no other reason. We needed bodies.
Yeah.
I don't think it's because they thought these guys are the future. So I don't know. We didn't go 7-9 to win the Super Bowl. Dave. We went 9-7.
We went 9-7, Dave.
9-7. But so Chris, let's talk about the Dallas game a little bit. Obviously, we went up 13-6. It was an ugly game, which we kind of figured it would be. But what are like the positives you take out of that game? Is there any positive you take out of the game besides the fact that we kept it close?
No, I think the positive. Well, Andrew Thomas, but that's like a given at this point. Like,
right.
But Andrew Thomas did a great job, especially when you went back and watched the film breakdowns that these guys do. Like he kept Parsons to check that entire game when he was on his side. So AT continues to cement himself as a game-changing franchise left tackle. Like he's
big for us.
He's big, and he's definitely somebody that you should be really happy about going forward.
Yeah.
I liked overall the play calling from Kafka. I would have liked a little bit more running with Saquon Barkley, especially in the second half. But I thought he did a really good job when you factor in how bad of a job the offensive line did to set Daniel Jones up with some good passing opportunities early on in that game, getting Bellinger involved. So I thought the play calling overall was pretty good on Kafka's part. I think that's a positive, factoring in the deficiencies of this offense in that game, going up against a really good defense. For us to even be able to move the ball at all with how poorly our offensive line played, I thought the play calling overall was pretty good, even though I would have liked more running, like I said, with Barkley. And Jones. I think Jones was a positive in that game for the same reason. So those are the positives. The negatives are obvious. We got no pass rush, didn't sack the quarterback once, despite the fact how often we blitzed. Just the defense as a whole was abysmal. We gave up 23 points, but it should have been 34. We had what should have been a pass interference call against Darnay Holmes. That should have been 4 more points, and CeeDee Lamb dropped.
Yep.
That's 11 more points on top of the 23. Should have been 34 points. So the defense as a whole was horrible, and the offensive line was really bad. And I think we knew as a whole, like Evan Neal struggled, obviously, the interior. And I think we knew going in that was a blemish, but it really stood out in this game. So, that's my overall outlook on the game.
Yeah, I think for me, like you said, I honestly, I know people, kill Daniel Jones all the time, but that was, again, I know we got hurried a lot. I know he got sacked, and I know he missed some throws down the field. He was under constant duress. Evan Neal had a terrible game. I felt like Daniel Jones' ability to move around in the pocket, at least extend plays and make plays with his feet and get out of the pocket, something that we really haven't seen from him. I thought his instincts were better. I was almost an incredible catch. So I thought that was a little bit better. 20 for 37 for whatever he ended up with, and an interception looks terrible. We all know David Sills fell down in the last play of the game. I know there's some guys out there that said he wouldn't have caught it anyway. He let him too far. I'm like, how do you know he fell down? We don't know where he should have been. But again, I felt like the Giants showed some resolve in that game. The defense was the big letdown for me. I don't think there's any – that drive right after we scored, it's not that we gave up the touchdown. It was how easily they let them go right down the field. They could run the ball at will. Cooper Rush had all night and day to throw, locating receivers wide open down the field. It's just the way they gave it back. They gave back that momentum so quick. And that's why I'm like, if they could have just got a stop, I felt like that was a turning point in the game. I felt like if our defense would have stood up and got a stop there, we win. I just have that feeling, but I felt like that sucked the life kind of out of the offense. Like, oh God, we just scored. It's been tough out here. The line can't hold up. We're having a hard time running the ball. Quarterback's constantly running around. It's tough. It's tough to move. They were moving the ball okay, but it's tough to score a touchdown against that defense. And it's almost like they're like, oh God, here we go again. It was tough. The defense,
Barkley, by the way, too, I want to say, I was just thinking about it as you were talking, he was a positive too. Barkley.
who's that?
Saquon.
Oh, Saquon's always a positive.
But he's a given too. But you brought up a lot of good points, man. The defense definitely, and I will say the other thing that I think a lot of fans realize while watching that game is how important Leonard Williams is to this defense.
Yeah. He may not get a lot of sacks, but he definitely makes a big difference in the run game. KN made a good point there. That 3rd and 16 where we let them have the toss to the outside for 25 or whatever it was, that can't happen.
That was a backbreaker.
That was a backbreaker. I mean, that's a give up play for them. And we allowed them to give them first down. How far is this kick? 57 yards. Good.
Wow, we made it 57.
It's amazing how these guys make that look so easy now.
Yeah, it's crazy.
When I was growing up, and I'm old, but when I was growing up, man, they didn't even attempt field goals of 57 yards.
Yeah, I remember too when I started watching anything over 45 was like a massive field goal.
Yeah, it was a lot. You hit a 51-yard field goal. I was like, damn, that was a long field goal. These guys are kicking from 60 with no problem.
Yeah, it's crazy.
LA Lou, thank you, my friend. There you go. Washington plays UCLA on Saturday on ESPN. Give me your honest assessment of DTR that game. It's only one game, but give it the quick. I will. I definitely will. I didn't know they played UCLA, but I definitely, like I said, I'm doing everything I can to watch Washington just because I like watching Michael Penix and just to kind of see what he has. But he's a guy that can run. He's got a really strong arm. He's good, man. He's got a quarterback. I like him. Again, I've only watched 2 games, and what I've seen so far, he's impressed. So we'll see if he can do it against UCLA.
I see A1. I think you're wrong, A1. He says Green Bay hasn't scored more than 17 points this season. I think they scored 27 points week 2, if I'm not mistaken.
Did they? I don't remember.
I think they did.
Gus Gunner said they scored 27 against the Bears.
Oh, well, there you go. Yeah.
Okay.
But I know they really struggled week 1.
Yeah. They did. John, thank you, my friend. Appreciate it. He says our defense definitely missed Leo. Our linebackers are a joke. Can't wait till Wink gets his linebackers. I think our linebackers are as bad as our wide receivers. Ravens and Bills have great linebackers, and that's part of it, right? That's why it's a rebuild. As I've said a number of times, like in my post games and stuff, there is still a Gettleman hangover. There's a lot of Gettleman left in this team, and it's hard to evaluate what Joe Shane and Dable and company do when a lot of these players are not theirs. That's why you have to give a GM 3 years, because in 3 years' time, they've turned it over to their own roster, and then we can evaluate, which is why Chris and I, while people were ready to get rid of Gettleman after 2 years, gave him 4 before, like, okay, he needs to go.
Yeah. I'm giving the Shane just as long of a leash. So we'll see what he could do. The other thing I'll say, and Leonard Williams was definitely, it was evident, not just in the run, like you said, the pass too. Like, he may not get the sacks, but you think back to like Jimenez's sack the week before, it was caused by Leonard Williams. Leonard Williams got the great interior pressure, flushed the quarterback out. Like, he's by far, I think he's our best player on defense. I don't even think it's that close, to be honest with you. Like, he's that important to our defense.
That'll also help the edge rushers if you can.
No, we need Leo, but I think the other thing that stands out is like with just one player out, like how bad our depth is, like how big of a difference that makes to our defense.
And that's drafting.
Yeah.
Dire Giants fan, thank you, being a member for 44 months, almost 4 years. He says the feel in New York has changed. Joe is getting his staff after this year. Sure, I may overreact, but overall, I think any move they make will be for the best. And that's the thing, Dire Giants fan. I've said that a lot too. I feel like no matter what happens this year, I feel like these guys have a plan. I feel like we finally got it right. I feel like the front office is the right guys. I feel like the head coach is the right guy. We'll see how it plays out, but we have a long ways to go, and they have to get their guys in here. And like you said, I'm anxious to see what happens when they have the roster that they want. And hopefully by the time that happens, we're a good team again.
Yeah, and I want to just speak to Ayub's point. I saw it earlier. He wrote it like 4 times about when I sit. Obviously, there's going to be teams that get out of the top 10. all the teams you mentioned found a franchise-changing quarterback. The Jacksonville Jaguars found Trevor Lawrence. If the Giants found Trevor Lawrence, we'll get out of this.
We had Justin Herbert
The Cincinnati Bengals found Joe Burrow.
and Jamar Chase.
And you mentioned Justin Herbert. But to be fair, Justin Herbert hasn't done anything yet in terms of winning. But I still think he's really good. But yeah, they found game-changing quarterbacks. If we find a game-changing quarterback, it's going to change this franchise real quick. I'm not telling you it won't. But it doesn't always happen. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. It's tough. Yeah. They don't grow on trees. You know, it's hard to get, it's hard to find a really good quarterback. And yeah, I mean, not only did they had Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase was a top 5 pick. You know, they got Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon's a really good running back. They added T. Higgins. That was a 2nd round pick. So they were able to do it in, you know, a couple of years. That's what we got to hope for. That's exactly what we got to hope for. We got to hope that they can do it in a couple of years' time. No,
Justin Herbert's been great, John. I'm just saying it didn't necessarily result in a ton of winning yet. That's all I mean. But Justin Herbert's great. I'm not bashing Justin Herbert.
Yeah, definitely not. Is Herbert just 1-6 against winning teams? I mean, he may be. I feel like that those win-loss records for a quarterback, a lot of times I don't think they're fair because Justin Herbert could put up 38 points and lose 41-38. And that's really not his fault that the defense gave up all the points. I mean, I'd have to see how again, I don't watch the Chargers. When they're on TV, I do, but we don't get the Chargers over here in New York. So it's hard for me to say how he plays every game against a winning team. But I'd have to go look at the tape to see how he does. Just watching Bridgewater. He's going to get the first down. And then he takes a hit. Yeah. They want a flag, but I think he was inbounds and he got hit. Blue Collar, thank you, my friend. Appreciate it. He says, what are some rules of the game you'd want to see changed? You mentioned a 60-yard field goal. Should they consider shrinking the width of the field goal post or any other changes? What do you think?
That's out of the box thinking.
I actually kind of like that, Blue Collar.
Maybe a little bit. Just make it a little thinner. Make it a little more like that. It's not a bad suggestion.
No, it's not. Because I don't think a team should only have to get to like the 45 and the dude can kick a 62-yard field goal and win the game. I kind of don't like
in today's NFL with these kickers, if you get 2 first downs, you're in scoring range almost. With the way that these guys could kick it. 3 first downs, you're in scoring range. So
somebody said I fell off watching the Yankees. I watch the Yankees every night. I don't know what you mean.
Yeah,
I watch the Yankees every night. I don't stream them.
Yeah, I watch the Mets every night too, or every night that I can. And yeah, I'm not streaming every Met game.
I'm not streaming every Yankee game.
It's 4 hours sitting there.
Right. And I have a wife and a son, and I'm just pretty much getting home from the gym. And I pretty much am home from the gym, and I finish making my dinner. I sit down to eat my dinner, and I watch the Yankees. That's what I do every night. My son watches the Yankees with me. So I watch them. I don't stream them. I stream them on days that I can. I wish I could stream them more. But I can't. I streamed them the one night, and it got rained out, or it got whatever. The Yankees won, but it was a rain-shortened game. So, yeah, I definitely didn't fall off watching them. I watch them all the time. And when they're in the playoffs, my wife understands, hey, that's playoff baseball is a different animal. You can stream the Yankees. They play like every other night or whatever. They play 2 nights and a night off. And so, yeah, October 11th, ALDS will be here. There's no question. The Yankee playoff baseball is different. We'll be doing that for sure. But so we got the Bears, Chris, the Bears. This is a game, but first and foremost, when we both did the schedule, when we did the predictions, I, probably a lot of other Giants fans had us 1-2 at this point, losing to Dallas. Of course, that was before Dak got hurt.
I had to start.
When we had us losing to Tennessee, and beating Carolina. We ended up beating Tennessee.
Yep.
So we're ahead of where we were. The Bears, I still believe, is a very winnable game. Their offensive line is no good. They have absolutely no wide receivers either.
Yep.
I don't know much about them.
Very limited quarterback. Very limited.
Right. Justin Fields really is an incredibly inaccurate quarterback, a young quarterback that he may struggle against the blitz because the Chicago Bears offensive line is not Dallas.
Right.
So, again, it's in MetLife. This is a winnable game. 3-1, definitely staring us in the face. You mentioned on Twitter that Saquon has had really big games against the Bears. That was not a good pass by Bridgewater. He just threw an interception, probably iced the game. What do you think the Giants have? What do you think the game plan is against you? Is it a heavy dose of Saquon? Is it? I mean, I don't know what else. It has to
No,
be
it's
a heavy
Saquon.
dose.
It's Saquon. And that's not to say all you're going to do is run the ball, but it has to be. They have to do a better job, in my opinion, of getting Barkley even more involved early in the game. Last week, he only had 7 carries in the first half, and I think he only had 14 carries for the whole game. I understood it more last week because you were going up against a great defense. You had to try to keep them honest in terms of throwing the ball, and they're going to have to try to throw the ball a bit in this game as well. But with our weapons out, with how poor of our offensive line played last week in terms of pass protection, and as big of a weapon as Saquon Barkley is, and the fact that teams have been able to run on the Bears at will, 470 yards they've surrendered in 3 games on the ground. That's a lot. That's
Right.
100 yards a game, pretty much. If you're the New York Giants, your best player is Saquon Barkley. You got to ride him in this game, and I think you have to come out with that strategy. Maybe you let Daniel Jones keep it a bit as well to keep them honest with the RPOs, so on and so forth. But you got to try to establish that ground game and let that defense go out there and try to win the game for you. We know the Bears can run the ball for sure, but they have not been able to throw it. They've only had 45 pass attempts all year. So they're going to be a team that's going to try to control the clock as well. The Giants have to do a good job stuffing the run and forcing Fields to throw. But on the Giants side, game plan has to revolve around Saquon Barkley, especially without all the receivers that we have out. It has to revolve around Saquon Barkley.
I agree. I don't want Daniel Jones to throw the ball more than 30 times in this game.
Yeah.
I think it has. I don't
want him throwing more than 25.
Right. I think Saquon needs 20 to 25 touches at least. And again, I think Daniel Jones should keep it a little bit on the RPO. But as you mentioned, the Bears have been gouged on the ground this year. And there's no reason why the Giants shouldn't do that. Our best player is Saquon Barkley. Their weakness is run defense. It just makes all the sense in the world while they're throwing. And he's got Chase, and that's almost a touchdown. I could have used that damn touchdown. I have Joe Burrow on my fantasy team. I could have used that touchdown.
I just want to let you know, because I saw Tommy B in the chat.
I got it. I see it up here.
I got it.
I got it. I'm getting to it next.
Yeah.
John, thank you for the super chat, brother. Appreciate it. Says, are you worried about Cole in our bullpen? I don't trust Holmes as our closer. I'm not worried about our offense with DJ Matt coming back. I don't like Garrett Cole, John. I am not a believer in Garrett Cole. Every single game, that guy has one bad inning. That's not an ace. People are like, oh, take the bad inning away. You can't. Every game we go up 3-0, 4-0, he gives it right back. An ace doesn't do that. You give an ace 3, you give a guy like Jacob deGrom 3 runs, shut him down. You give a guy like Max Scherzer 3 runs, it's over.
Yeah.
It should be over Garrett Cole, and never is. So I am worried about Garrett Cole. And I'm definitely worried about Clay Holmes. Clay Holmes, all of a sudden, when he came off that injury, no control. And that was my biggest hang up with why did we sign him or, trade for him when we did a couple like last year. I was like, why the hell we get a guy that can't throw strikes? The back end of the bullpen definitely scares me, John. Losing Michael King was huge. And I don't trust Chapman. And I don't trust, Holmes. So it's scary. The beginning of the year, I would have told you no way would I be worried about the bullpen, but I am worried about the bullpen. I can't lie. I do think we're good enough to beat Cleveland or Seattle. It's Houston that I'm worried about. Tommy, thank you, my friend. Appreciate you, brother. He says DJ looks to have improved, but the team is trash and we need to accept. Blaming DJ when he is running for his life makes no sense. We're 0-3 with Tyrod. Chris, what do you think about the people calling for Tyrod Taylor? Like there was somebody on Twitter. I don't even know why I was on Twitter today. Twitter it's
toxic.
It's insane.
Yeah.
I don't spend a lot of today. I did. Like I had like a half an hour. I'm in a different office and there really wasn't much going on. So I happened to be on Twitter.
Twitter's fun when we're doing well. When we're doing bad, it's toxic.
But somebody was saying that Tyrod Taylor should start. Daniel Jones is awful. He had a terrible game against Dallas.
That guy yesterday.
What's that?
I commented on that yesterday. Adam Shine or whatever his name is.
Yeah.
It's a joke.
That's right. You said piss off.
Yeah.
And I said, how does Tyrod Taylor help our team? He's not the future.
Yeah.
So what do you say to people that are clamoring for Tyrod Taylor? Like, how would you what would you say to those guys?
Yeah, as far as the Tyrod Taylor thing, like, to me, the only people, and there shouldn't be anybody right now that wants to see Tyrod Taylor. Okay, DJ has not played bad. I'm not saying he's played great, but he has not played bad. And if you saw Tyrod Taylor in preseason, you know what you're getting. He did not look good at all in preseason. But to me, the only people at this point that want to see Tyrod Taylor are just people that want to be able to say, told you, Jones isn't good. Like, they don't want to see Tyrod Taylor because they think it helps the football team. They want to see Tyrod Taylor to justify their opinion that Daniel Jones sucks.
But what if Tyrod Taylor comes in and sucks? He
Well,
would.
yeah, that's why they want Taylor to get a start, though. They want him to get in there and Taylor throw 1 or 2 touchdowns, and they could be like, I told you, Daniel Jones. So I'm right. But I don't think anybody could think, honestly, that right now Tyrod Taylor gives the Giants a better chance to win football games.
Don't you think some of these same people were saying Jake Fromm was going to be good?
Of course they were.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, Tyrod Taylor's on the future of the Giants. If we had a rookie quarterback behind Daniel Jones, then maybe we're like, all right, let's take a look at the rookie. He's going to be the future. Kind of like when Daniel Jones was here, we got off to an 0-2 start with Eli. It's like, just put him in there. Let him get the experience. We're not going anywhere. Let him learn. Let him learn.
Yeah. That's
Tyrod Taylor's not the future. Tyrod Taylor came here to be a backup. Tyrod Taylor may get some starts next year if the Giants draft a rookie quarterback.
Of course, it will. We'll get a couple.
Maybe he will.
Yeah.
And then you can look at him. But there's a reason Tyrod Taylor's not a starter in the NFL. There's a reason for it.
Yeah.
He wouldn't be any better than Daniel Jones. Did you watch him in preseason?
He'd be worse than
great. Like Tommy said, we probably would be 0-3 because as much as you want to knock Daniel Jones, and as much as Daniel Jones hasn't lit up the scoreboard with amazing numbers, he did drive us down for the game-winning touchdown against. That's a touchdown. I needed that. Thank you, Joe Burrow.
What do you got, Burrow?
He did lead us down for a game-winning touchdown against Tennessee. He did lead us down for a game-winning field goal against Carolina. And we were down 13-6 in that game, and he led us right back and scored a touchdown we needed to have.
Yeah.
So he's definitely shown better resolve this year. He's definitely shown better awareness. I mean, it's not like it get worse. And I'm not saying Daniel Jones is the future either. But what I'm telling you is we have a better chance to win with him than Tyrod Taylor. That's just the way it goes. If you want Tyrod Taylor in there, you want to lose every game or most games, makes sense. Some guys do want to tank this year and get a quarterback. And hey, I have no problem if that's the way you guys feel. I understand that. I understand a lot of people want the quarterback. Daniel Jones ain't going to be here. So they want the best quarterback they can get. So they're like, throw this year away. We're not going anywhere anyway. Lose as many games as possible. Throw Tyrod Taylor in there. Daniel Jones is a piece of garbage and whatever. So
I just want to call shout out Joey Lutz. He's been in the chat. He's trying to get my attention. Joe Lutz is an OG of ours. Yeah, I'm well aware. Man. I'm well aware, Joe. We got Francisco Alvarez called up to the Mets. I'm going to be calling at least the next 2 Met games. So hopefully you swing on by for the stream. But I'm excited to see the kid play.
Bear, thank you, my friend. Appreciate you, brother. Off topic, but to you guys, watch the Giants channel on YouTube, the behind-the-scenes stuff or Hard Knocks. I think the Giants are one of the few teams that haven't done Hard Knocks yet. I don't have HBO, so I couldn't watch it anyway.
I do watch Hard Knocks, Bear. I didn't see the last episode, I don't think. But, yeah, I do watch Hard Knocks. It was Detroit this year. I don't think the Giants are ever going to be on Hard Knocks. I think that doesn't seem like something the Giants would ever want to do. I could be wrong. Maybe they'll be forced to do it one year, but I don't think it's going to happen. And to be honest with you, as much as I would enjoy it as a fan, because it's just cool to get a more in-depth look of your football team, I don't think it's good for the football team. So I prefer them not to do it personally. I don't want any extra distractions while they're at training camp. I want them to be there to work and get as good as they possibly can. Like, you think about a personality like a guy like Kayvon Thibodeau in his rookie year. Would it have been a great situation to have him potentially?
Would it be a great situation for Kadarius Toney to be on Hard Knocks?
Yeah, like, it's a distraction. So for me, like, the fan of me would like it, but like, my brain says it's probably not best for the football team.
Steve, I appreciate you. Says you're trying to send a super chat, but it won't send. So a couple of things could happen with that, Steve. Sometimes whatever, if you're putting like characters or emojis or something in it, it doesn't let you do it. Sometimes you just have to log out of the chat and log back. And it happens to me too. I try to send super chats and it doesn't let me do it. And I think that's why, but I appreciate you trying. You could try that maybe. I don't know. Some YouTube is weird sometimes. I don't understand YouTube. I've been on it for God knows how long, and I still have no idea what's going on. Johnny, thank you, my friend. He says Titans win offsets a Bears loss, or is coaching bad? I don't know what we can't lose to the Bears, John. That'd be a bad thing if we lost.
We gotta win. We gotta win this game. I think we got a good shot, but we gotta win.
Our coaching's not bad. Our coaching staff is actually very good.
Yeah. Listen, we're not a good football team.
Yeah.
And last week we had Leonard Williams was hurt. We're not a good football team. Nobody thought this team was going to win more than 7 games before the start of the year.
Right.
So we got to get better players here before we could really truly evaluate the coach. But so far, I think Dable's done a good job, really good job so far.
Yeah. Let's just do this real quick. How many likes we got in here? 244. We got to get 300 likes, guys and girls. Come on, baby. 244 likes. Hit the thumbs up. Hit that subscribe if you're new. Make sure you ring the bell. Be live for Giants content all year. Make sure you join the channel so you can ride the roller coaster. More importantly, make sure you go into the description and subscribe to my man, the Entertainer Talking Sports, because we do this show every week. We're all-day channels. We do the games every week. We're all-day channels. Now, if Chris goes to the Bears game, I'll be doing the game solo, and then the next 2 weeks will be on his channel, the Packers and the Ravens. If there is a ton of rain and he decides to stay home,
we'll do it on my channel.
The Bears game will be on.
I don't think there will be. I don't think there will be, but we'll see.
Right. But just say so. Make sure you subscribe to both channels. You don't want to miss it. We got the best chat on YouTube. There's no question about that. But it's always fun. Yeah, it gets a little toxic. People get pissed off. It's why I love the fan base. The one thing I'll say, the fan base, sometimes we're going to disagree. Sometimes people are going to get pissed off at your opinion. It goes with the territory, right? But you can't deny the fact that the fans are passionate, and that's why they feel the way they do. And that's what I love about our fan base. It's extremely passionate, and they're sick and tired of losing. And that's why sometimes people come out with the things they do. It's not personal, and I understand that. They're pissed off at losing, and they want to get better. And, we just have different opinions on how they're going to get better. But that shows me you care.
Yeah.
Because if you didn't care, you'd be like, oh, yeah, I agree with everything you say all the time. It'd be no fun. It'd be no fun.
I agree. And I saw Rob said we appreciate it, Rob. He said that he'd like to get a drink with us and talk about David Terry and that we're awesome. And we appreciate it, man.
Appreciate it, Rob. Definitely.
Talk about David Terry with you for hours, man.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. Kelly, yes, I am covered. For everybody in here asking me about the Lakers, yes, guys. This guy comes back Monday. Kings, Lakers. 5th year streaming the Lakers. Yes. I will be back on Monday. They play the Sacramento Kings for preseason. And yeah, LakerDog will be here for probably 75 games like I usually am, including all the preseason games. So I will be here. I will be doing the Lakers. Yes, indeed. Even with Russell Westbrook coming back. They did get Patrick Beverly. Did add a couple pieces. We'll see. I don't know what to expect from the Lakers. Johnny, my friend, thank you for the super chat. Says, bad cloud over my Phils, Chris. Good luck to the Mets.
Yeah, I don't know. How are the I know are they out of the playoffs right now, the Phillies? Let me take a quick look. I haven't been up with them. I know that they took 2 from the Braves. They're 83 and 72. No, they're still in it. I mean, they're by a half game. The Brewers are 83 and 73, so it's gonna be really tight for you guys down the stretch. But you guys you're still in it. You're still in it. You might get in.
Rob asked me if I drink. I can't find that. Otherwise, I would. I would definitely drink Cherry Coke Zero if I could find it. I actually have that. I actually had to get this the other day. I went back to my, we have the new flashy girlfriend, the old Coke Zero. This is something I've picked up recently because I think they were out of Diet Coke one day, and I had to get this. And I'm like, wow, this is way better. It tastes like regular Coke. And not that I mind Diet Coke, no, but they were out of Coke Zero, and I'm like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? I'm like, oh, I got Diet Coke. I got to settle for Diet Coke.
Coke Zero. I actually like Coke Zero. Coke Zero is good.
Coke Zero is good. They had Pepsi Zero. I'm like, I'm not a Pepsi guy. I got to get Coke.
I'm with you on that. A lot of people seem to like Pepsi over Coke. And a lot of people say that they taste the same. They do not.
No, they don't taste the same. I mean, I don't mind. It's not like I dislike Pepsi.
I could drink Pepsi, but it's definitely like when I go to like a movie theater or a baseball game, I usually get beer, but if I'm going to get soda and I see they got Pepsi, I'm a little disappointed.
Yeah.
Like
yeah. I'm definitely more of a Coke product guy.
Yeah.
Than a Pepsi product guy. Andrew, thank you, brother. Appreciate Nick's season prediction from both y'all this year.
The Eastern I haven't done a ton of research, but the Eastern Conference is stacked.
Yeah, it's
So
loaded like it was last year.
it's going to be tough for the Knicks. I think they have a good chance to make the play-in series between like a 7 and 10 seed. I think it's going to be tough for them to crack that top 6 seed. They may get like the 6 seed, but I probably got them like the 8 seed, 9 seed, like in that play-in series. But I definitely think they're going to be improved this year just for the addition of Brunson alone. And I think Barrett will take another step up this year. He averaged 24 points over the second half last year. So, or maybe it was like the last 25 games. So I'm really excited to see him hopefully grow more as a player this year. But yeah, I definitely think Brunson's going to have an impact on that team. I think he's going to make Mitch better. I think he's going to make Toppin better. I think he's going to make Barrett better. So yeah, I think we're a good team. We just so happen to play in a stacked conference. So I probably got the Knicks around 500, maybe slightly above 500. I'm actually going to a Knicks game on. I got tickets with my friend Jared. I forgot when I'm going. I'm going early in the year though. It's one of their first like 7 or 8 games, so I'm excited about that. But yeah, I got them right around like 42, 43 wins, something like that.
Yeah, health is going to be important to the Knicks. I don't think there's any question about that. But I think last year I think last year what happened is they moved laterally. I hated the Evan Fournier sign. I hated the Kemba Walker. I'm like, you guys, they moved laterally, and it seemed like other teams improved. And I felt like they might have a rough season. I thought they would still make the playoffs, but I didn't think, I didn't think they'd be in like the top half. I thought maybe they'd make the 8th seed.
Yeah.
And again, this year, I kind of agree with Chris. I see them winning, being like, if again, all things considered equal, they're healthy. I could see them going 43 and 39 or 44 and 38 and maybe getting the 8th or 9th seed. I don't think they'll be as bad as they were last year, but I don't think they're good enough to take on the Bucks or the Celtics or the Heat or the Raptors or, the Sixers even. Like the East is really good.
Well, the
Even
Nets.
Cleveland. Hey, look out for Cleveland as well. So
Cleveland's
that
got
is a very
now.
tough conference. The other thing
Yeah.
is last year, I felt like when the Knicks made the playoffs, a lot of people overlooked the Knicks and took it for granted as an easy win, and that wasn't the case. The Knicks had a lot of comebacks
The
that
other,
year.
the other thing I'll say, Baddog, about that year, if you go back and look, and I'm not taking anything away from the Knicks, they definitely overachieved that year. Thibodeau definitely deserved Coach of the Year. Like it was a great year. It was one of the most fun Knick years I've ever had as a fan.
Yes, Jukes, the Bulls too. Yeah,
but you go back and look, so many teams had big injuries that year in the Eastern Conference. So like the Knicks,
the Raptors dealt with the injuries that year.
Yeah, the Knicks kind of benefited from that, and they overachieved, and we saw it in the playoffs when they went up against the Hawks. So they got a ways to go, but I do think they're improved. I like the Brunson move, and I like that they didn't trade Barrett. I would have been pissed if they traded Barrett.
Yeah.
So hopefully this year they get a little bit better and just continue to grow. But the one thing I really want to see from the Knicks this year, if they can do it, get Randle off the team. And it's not because I hate Julius Randle. It's not. I think Julius Randle's still a good player, and I think he's going to be better with Brunson on this team. But they got to start to develop these younger players on this basketball team. You can't have Obi Toppin getting 10 minutes, 12 minutes, because Randle's not going to be here when this team gets good. He's not. He might be here for another year after this year. You got to, even if you don't plan to have Obi Toppin or Quentin Grimes or Emmanuel Quickly be part of your core in the future, you still need these guys to develop so you could potentially up their trade value. Like right now, Toppin doesn't have trade value because he doesn't get on the floor.
Right.
So, you look at a team like the Cavs, like you just mentioned, they had 2 or 3 really good young pieces, so they didn't have to trade their best young piece. If the Knicks wanted to make that trade, they would have had to trade RJ Barrett. So they need Toppin to develop. They need Grimes to develop. They need Quickly to develop. And that's what I think this season has to be about, getting those young guys minutes, getting them playing time, and upping their trade value. I think that's what they have to be focused on.
I agree. So this goes right into Patrick's super chat. Thank you, Patrick. Quentin Grimes or Fournier? Grimes.
Oh, Grimes.
Oh,
Grimes. Fournier doesn't play like a defense.
Fournier. Bonjour, oui, oui.
He's a good shooter. He could shoot threes, but he don't play defense.
Right. Seems like a lot of guys in the NBA. They shoot threes and play no D.
Yeah.
Do you want those 3 and D guys? You get a lot of 3 guys, but no D guys.
Yeah.
Alien, thank you, my friend. Appreciate it. This is what up, guys. Better. What's your thoughts on Rizzo being given assistant skipper responsibilities in the Yankee game the other day? We won. I think that he's a better manager than Aaron Boone already. And Aaron Judge hit his 61st homer under the tutelage of Anthony Rizzo. Actually, I think it's cool that the Yankees allowed him to do that. It's fun that they're able to relax. They got the division out of the way. They're able to relax a little bit and have some fun. And, Aaron Judge hit him. So obviously wants to hit 62, but I think just the fact that he got to 61, he could relax a little bit. And the one thing I love about Judge was he wasn't pressing. And you could see because he took so many walks. He was 5 for 19 at one point after he hit a 60 homer, but he walked 12 times. So he was on base 17 out of 31. He walked 4 times a night. So you knew he wasn't trying. He wasn't pressing. He wasn't going out of the strike zone to try to hit the home run. So I like his approach more than anything else. I like his approach. So I think he will get 62. I think it happens against Baltimore. And then I think that he rests and we get ready for Seattle or Cleveland. I think that's how that goes. And we're going to have some fun in the chat real quick because I saw Mary Walsh say Diet Pepsi over Diet Coke any day. She said, I am a Pepsi addict. So I'm asking the chat.
You know, post a poll.
Pepsi or Coke?
You should post a poll. You can do that, right?
I'm doing it right now.
Yeah.
Pepsi or Coke? There it is. Let's see what the chat. While you guys are doing that, I have to run to the bathroom because the Coke ran through me. And Chris can hold down the chat for like a minute. I'll be right back.
I'm gonna pull up your chat because I can't see the poll. I'm curious to see what the poll's coming in at. Well, these people, I'm gonna vote. I got Coke. All right, it's actually pretty close so far. 68% to 30. Actually, now Coke's starting to pull away. 68, 32%. Only 59 votes. Get those votes in, guys. I'm curious to see. What's going on, Alien Man? Terry says Diet Coke. To be honest, I like them both. Charles Barkley can't decide. We got a Pepsi. You have Sabonis. I like Sabonis. He's a good player for the Kings. He's a good player. Dr. Pepper, but Coke if I could choose any between those two. The regular of both. Let's see. Let me take a quick look at who's winning here. Let me see. Still Coke, 64-36. So Coke seems to be the winner. Holmes not playing no more. Holmes played last. You talking about Darnay Holmes? He played last week, I think. Yeah, he should have had the pass interference call. He played last week in the slot. Do you think the Giants make the playoffs? I don't. I hope they do, but no, I don't. I'm sticking with my initial prediction of 7-10. So yeah, had that when they started 2-0. I stayed there, so I'm definitely not going to change it off 2-1. So 7-10 for the Giants. Don't have to make it the playoffs.
Coke has a big lead so far. I'm surprised. I thought it'd be more even. Dan, thank you for the super chat, brother. Appreciate it. Says Judge is going to get paid. Hope we keep him. You know, that's another thing. Like for Yankee fans, it's kind of like the Saquon Barkley thing. This is a guy that has dealt with injury a lot in his career, having one of the greatest seasons in the history of baseball, perhaps the greatest season in the history of baseball. The man could win a triple crown and break the home run record in the same year.
Insane.
Yeah, that is insane. Okay. But he's 30. And do you want to give the guy 7 or 8 years?
They have
tie
to.
up all that money?
They have to.
But that's what I'm saying. Do they have to?
Yeah.
What if somebody offers them $500 million? What if the San Francisco Giants say, we'll give you 10 years, $500 million?
You're the New York Yankees. You have to do it. You bite the bullet at the end of the contract. You can't let Aaron Judge walk after a year like this.
It'd be interesting.
And trust
I don't think there's any way the Yankees let him walk.
And trust me, the Mets are going to drive up the price, but the Yankees are going to have to match it. They're not letting Aaron Judge walk. It's not happening.
This ain't George Steinbrenner, man.
Yeah, but Aaron Judge is he's your Derek Jeter right now. You know, they're not letting him go.
The thing is, he hasn't won anything yet. Jeter won 4 of his first 5 years.
I'm going to give you my honest opinion about it. And some Yankees fans may hate me for saying this. I do think you're going to regret the extension, but I think you're going to have to do it. Because to me, it has Albert Pujols written all over it. When the Angels signed Albert Pujols to that gigantic 9 or 10 year contract, and he kind of fell off after 2 or 3 years with the Angels, I could see that with Judge. But you have to do it.
They're going to make him an offer. I mean, they're going to offer money. I just
There's
don't.
no way they're letting him walk.
I don't want him going anywhere. It ain't my money. So what the hell? You're the freaking Yankees. Who gives a damn? Give me 8 years, $320 million, and be done with it.
But let me
you gave Cole all that damn money.
No, you have to pay it. Just like the Mets have to pay DeGrom.
That's what I'm saying. You gave Garrett Cole all the money. Cole wasn't a Yankee. You picked up Giancarlo Stanton's massive contract.
Yeah.
They have to.
Yeah, like I know, like when the Mets pay DeGrom, which I want them to do, by the way, because the Mets have only had one great guy that played start to finish as a New York Met. That's David Wright. DeGrom would be the second. Like Strawberry obviously left, and Keith was not a Met before. Carter, Piazza, right? Seaver left with the trade. So, like, I want another great lifetime Mets, and I think all Met fans want DeGrom to come back. But in the back of my head, am I like, are they probably going to regret it? Yeah, they probably will. The guys had injuries, but you got to bite the bullet for a player like that. And I think it's the same thing with Aaron Judge.
I agree. Bill, thank you for the super chat, my friend. Appreciate it. He says they pay everybody else but their own if Judge goes. Yeah, that's what I was just saying. They have to pay. They have to pay Aaron Judge. They can't let him freaking walk. There's no way, because the fan base would never forgive them for that.
Somebody asked me this question on Twitter. I thought it was a good question the other day about Aaron Judge. What they said, if you were Aaron Judge, or what do you think would be a bigger accomplishment? Winning the Triple Crown or breaking hitting the 62 home runs? Like,
the
if
Triple Crown,
one or the other.
The Triple Crown, without a doubt. It's been done once.
You would take 60. Let's say it was 60 home runs. You would take 60 home runs in the Triple Crown over 62.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because
I agree with
Aaron Judge is very adamant about he wanted to hit 300. It's very important to him. The Triple Crown has been won one time since 1967. And that's how difficult that is to do.
But to be fair, Baddog, 61 has only been done cleanly once.
Right.
Yep,
that's true.
So
that's true. 60's only been done cleanly twice.
Yeah.
Both Yankees. And neither one of those Yankees finished their career as a Yankee. This is interesting. Of course, Ruth only played 1 year with the Boston Braves, or not the Atlanta Braves. And that was it. Maris played a couple of years with the Cardinals. But yeah, I can't see them letting Judge go. But to break the home run record and win the Triple Crown the same year, it is the most insane. This is the best season I've ever seen any player have in my life. Outside of Bonds probably, but
Yeah, you have to go Bonds, but we all know he cheated.
Right.
Yeah, this is certainly up there. I mean, how could it not be?
It is definitely up there. And I just love that the Maris family's involved in it. And, this is a really cool moment. I scared the hell out of my wife, though, last night because she's, we're both sitting on the couch. She's doing some work on the computer, and he hits the ball. I know it's gone. So I'm like, yeah! She jumps. I'm like, sorry. Got excited, even my kids like, what happened, Dad? I'm like, he broke the record. He did it. He's the man,
See, I see E. I think this guy, I wish I got to see your reaction, but I see E. This comment, it couldn't be more wrong. He says, come on, though. It's baseball, the only sport that encourages steroids. As a matter, it's the only. Baseball is the opposite of that.
Right.
Football, you know how many people do steroids in football?
A lot.
Football, they just turn a blind eye. They're like, if you get caught, you get suspended for like 3 games, but nobody cares.
Do they even test?
It's just funny to me, Baddog, how and I'm not like bashing football fans because I'm a football fan. It's just funny the different mindsets between the sports, because people are fans of the same two sports and they have a completely different mindset from within the sports. Because in football, if you have a player in your team that gets caught from steroids, you're like, well, when does he get back? In baseball, you're like, get him off the team.
Right.
Get him off the team. And it's the same. I brought up the Belichick and Brady thing so many times too. Belichick and Brady got caught cheating in football. They are known as gods in the sport of football. If they were baseball players, people wouldn't let them near the Hall of Fame.
Right. You ain't cheating, you ain't trying. But in baseball,
it's just funny. It's funny.
It's because baseball is a national pastime, and I think people expect it to be extremely clean. But let's face it, it's without the steroids, baseball wouldn't have been as popular as it was in the 90s. It brought it back. Yeah. Listen, steroids or no steroids, Barry Bonds, the greatest player I ever saw in my life. He's a Hall of Famer. I don't care what anybody says. Put the steroid guys in the Hall of Fame. I don't care. You can't tell me Alex Rodriguez, Roger Clemens, and Barry Bonds are not Hall of Famers without them.
Of course.
They're the greatest players, some of the greatest players ever. The other guy, like McGuire, don't belong in there.
You know what? Who did you say? Clemens, Bonds, and who?
A-Rod.
Yes. A-Rod might have been doing it his whole career, but he's a whole. But Clemens is an interesting one because Clemens kind of started to tail off a little
He
bit.
did. In
And then
'96, he tailed off. And when he went to the Blue Jays,
and he started taking roids. He
misremembered.
Yeah. So Clemens, I don't know if he would have been a Hall of Famer without steroids. Bonds, 1,000% would have been a Hall of Famer without steroids.
I don't know. We'll never know. I mean, they put Ortiz in the Hall of Fame. He used him, and he was a DH.
It's a joke. It's a joke that Ortiz got in and guys like Bonds are not in. That's a joke because
I agree. That's why the writers should not have a vote.
Yeah,
they put the friends in there. It's BS.
And I'm not saying Ortiz shouldn't be in, but I'm not saying Ortiz shouldn't be in, but if Bonds isn't in, Ortiz shouldn't be.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
There's a lot of players that shouldn't be in a Hall of Fame. Al Trammell's not a Hall of Famer. Harold Baines is not a Hall of Famer. Edgar Martinez is not a Hall of Famer. Jack Morris is not a Hall of Famer. You put those guys in the Hall of Fame. Why is Dale Murphy not in the Hall of Fame? The dude's a 3-time MVP, every bit as good as Alan Trammell, one of the best players in the 80s. Why is he not?
Let me ask you, Ed, you brought up a good point with Edgar Martinez. And Edgar Martinez is one of the greatest right-handed hitters ever.
He is, and he killed the Yankees.
But who do you think deserves to be in the Hall of Fame more? Keith Hernandez or Edgar Martinez?
Keith Hernandez.
Keith Hernandez is like the greatest defensive first baseman of all time.
Won 2 World Series.
Got an MVP to his name. Edgar Martinez didn't play the field. Right. And people say he deserves to make the Hall of Fame because he's the greatest designated hitter of all time. What does that mean? You're the greatest guy that played half the game?
Well, Harold Baines is a designated hitter. He's in too.
Yeah, so it's like I agree with that. I didn't like that people just because he's the greatest DH, that doesn't necessarily qualify to be a Hall of Famer.
Keith Hernandez is definitely It's another guy. Why is Keith Hernandez, Dale Murphy? You got to start putting those guys in the Hall of Fame. Thurman Munson, why is he not in the Hall of Fame?
Yeah.
So it is a joke. Dashy, thank you for the super chat. 420 from Dashy, 420 crew. You know what to do. Smoke them because you got them. He says the Bengals beat the Dolphins 27-15. Hooday! I'm happy. I tuned into your stream for a couple of minutes, Dashy. You were pissed at that pass interference call early in the game. I didn't comment, but I was in there watching when the pass interference got called. You were.
Congratulations, Dashy, on the win tonight. You
guys are back, Dashy. You're back, baby. You're back. But now we got to listen to Eagle fans talk about how they're the only undefeated team in the NFL.
Yeah.
The Eagles are good. Michael, thank you for the super chat, brother. Appreciate you. He says, I think the fan base would be pissed unless Judge legitimately wants to play somewhere else and chooses to leave himself despite a really good offer. Yeah, Michael, the Yankees have to make him a massive offer. Better than the one they offered him at the beginning of the year, which is 7 years, 210. It was something like
that. He's getting a lot more than that.
Yeah. So he bet on himself and he won.
Listen, they got to pay. They don't have a choice. They have to pay him.
I absolutely agree. They at least got to make him a massive offer. You know.
And if they make him a massive offer, he's going to stay. He wants to be a Yankee, but they have to give him a huge offer.
Patrick, thank you for the $2. Boom. Appreciate that, my friend. SV, thank you for the super chat. Steroids doesn't make it easier to hit the ball. I agree. What steroids do, or at least what they did for baseball players, and I don't think it was Canseco that said this. Canseco did it to get stronger. It was pretty obvious. It allows their body to last longer. Like it wouldn't get tired. So they could be just as effective in September as they were in April. Baseball wears you down. You play 162 games in 6 months. You're traveling all over the place. You're playing 9 innings. It's a lot. You know, not to mention all your preseason games. So it's a lot of baseball. And I think what that did was allow them to stay as fresh. It also allowed them to prolong their careers.
Pettit took it.
Right. Yeah. Right. So I think that's what it does. But you're right. It doesn't give you better hand-eye coordination. It does not allow you to see.
But it clearly has an effect.
Yes, it has an effect.
Barry Bonds went from one of the top 10 or 15 players of all time to better than Babe Ruth.
Correct. The modern day Babe Ruth.
Yeah. Mark McGwire went from a good to very good power hitter to an immortal power hitter. Sammy Sosa went from a 30 home run hitter to a 66 home run hitter. Like it clearly has.
Yeah, it makes a difference.
Yeah.
But again, they still have to hit it because there's plenty of guys. I mean, I don't know if Gabe Kapler ever took them. But the dude was jacked. The dude was a huge, he's a bodybuilder. And he had no power. None. Yeah. Because you hit the ball with your hips. It's your hip torque. It's your wrists. It's your forearms. It's your bat speed. And just because you're strong doesn't mean you have great bat speed or great hip torque. And it doesn't mean you square up the ball either. So you can be strong and not hit a ton of home runs. Hank Aaron was not a big guy, but he had incredible bat speed. He was incredibly well. Alfonso Soriano's another guy. He wasn't incredibly big, but the bat speed was ridiculous.
Yeah, the quickest bat speed I've ever seen. He was up there.
Sheffield was up there, but Sheffield was a strong.
That's what I was going to say, Sheffield, but he took steroids. But
yeah,
Vladimir
Guerrero had bat speed
yeah.
too.
I remember people used to say that Soriano used to use an axe in the offseason. He used to chop wood to strengthen his wrist for bat speed.
Yeah. Slinksy, thank you for the super chat. Would you rather play the Jays or Rays in the ALDS? Well, we're not going to play them. I think they would get Cleveland. How does this work?
Look at the standings right now.
I think right now, I don't think the Rays are there. I forget how this. The Yankees would get Cleveland or Seattle is what I saw.
You get the winner of the 3-6, and the 3-6 is going to be, the Cleveland, and the 6 seed is going to be either Tampa or Seattle.
Okay, so they haven't done it yet. Okay,
yeah,
I would. It's tough. I'd probably rather play the Rays because the Blue Jays offense scares the hell out of me. And
well, the Blue Jays you're not going to get the Blue Jays. The Blue Jays are going to get the 4 or the 5.
Right. But so, I mean, if I had to pick, I would take I'd rather play the Rays. But I think the Yankees are good enough to make the ALCS. We'll see if they can beat Houston. I want Houston to be the man. You got to beat the man. I want Houston. I want to get to the ALCS. I don't want another crack at those guys. Dan, thank you, brother. Appreciate it. He says Pete's homework call for Judge yesterday was very good. Yeah, I didn't see it. Like I said, I was just watching the game I really wasn't watching it, but my son was out there. My wife was doing stuff, but I was definitely watching the game, and I was happy for him. I mean, I did the game Sunday night hoping to be able to make that call myself. Didn't happen. So, yeah, it's always pretty cool. I haven't got to make a big call like that. Maybe someday.
Well, he hasn't gotten 62 yet, right?
No, that's what I'm saying. But when am I going to be able to stream unless it's Saturday? I don't know when they play Saturday. Yeah. I can't do it tomorrow, and I can't do it maybe Saturday. We'll see. Here you go. Ellie Lou says, "Did you all hear that? Hip torque. Mookie Betts 5'9", 170, but he hits for power because if it's your hip torque. It's the same thing when you're golfing.
Yeah.
It's not about your arm strength. It's about how fast your hips get through that zone because it produces bat speed.
The same thing with pitching.
Right.
You look at Jacob deGrom. The guy's like 160 pounds soaking wet. He throws 102 miles an hour.
Pedro Martinez.
Yeah.
Another guy. Slight, but that drive with the legs is insane. But yeah, it's hip torque because it produces bat speed. There's a big difference between swinging hard and swinging fast. There's a big difference between that.
Yeah.
By the way, shout out to LA Lou for getting me the shirt because that's where the shirt came from. Shout out to LA Lou for getting me the hat. This is where the hat came from. Shout out to Dire Giants fan for allowing me to do this because he got me the chair. Shout out to all you guys and girls in the chat because you are the best there is on YouTube. I appreciate you being here. No love, JP. Thank you, my friend. Kadarius Toney treats the NFL like his side job. He'd rather do music. Chris, are we seeing Kadarius Toney at all this year?
Not this week.
No, at all this year.
Oh, at all this year? I hope so. We better. I'll never say never, though. I'm starting to consider calling the injury report the Toney report because he's always on it. Yeah, I think we'll see him eventually, but even when he does play, I'll just in the back of my head, I'll be like, he'll probably get hurt next week. The guy just can't stay on the field.
Somebody said I didn't wear my Cowboys. I don't have a Cowboys hat. I don't know what you're talking about. Someone says, Baddog, you didn't wear your Cowboys hat. I don't have a Cowboys hat.
I said going into the year, and a lot of Giants fans hated me for it. Going into the year, I think it was on our stream maybe. I said Tony's the most overrated player on the team.
Yeah.
Going into the year, and I know he's very loved by the fans, but people are already making him out to be, and I hope he becomes that. But people already make him out to be like a number one wide receiver.
So just to get into the head of some fans, Kadarius Toney's been here for about a year and a half. He's had one good game in his entire career, and yet he's the next coming of Odell Beckham. Kayvon Thibodeau plays 20 snaps and he's a bust. How does that work? Can you explain that to me?
And by the way, that one game where he did have an incredible game.
We lost and he threw a punch and got ejected.
Not only did we lose, we were down by like 20 points the entire game. So he was basically going up against the defense that was in like zone, like prevent defense the entire game for the most part. And I'm not trying to, he played great in that game, but it wasn't like a game where it was really close. And, so he's got potential, but for people to make him out to be this incredible player, like Kadarius Toney over the course of his career has how many yards? He's got 420 yards in 2 years now.
420 crew. You know what to do. Smoke was got him 420 yards. Sorry.
Outside of that Cowboys game, though, Baddog, he has 231 yards receiving in his entire NFL career with 0 touchdowns.
And again, fans swear this guy is a great wide receiver, but Kayvon Thibodeau, who's played 20 snaps his entire career, is a bust. I don't understand that. I'm an emotional guy. I'm an emotional fan. I'm an emotional guy anyway, not just an emotional fan. I'm an emotional guy. I always wear my emotions. I wear my heart on my sleeve, as they say. And I wear tank tops. So that tells you, how I am upstairs, okay? I am, but my God, like that is insane to label one guy as this guy's going to be the greatest receiver ever. There's no way we can let him walk. He's so talented. When he's had one good game in a year and a half, he can't get on the field.
It was a game we got killed in.
Right. Right. And he still hasn't scored a touchdown, but yet there's people that'll say,
and wasn't that the
boss? That was the wrong pick.
Didn't everybody get hurt in that game too? Like Barkley got hurt.
Jones got hurt.
But like all the weapons got hurt. So he was like the only guy they could throw to. It's like, whatever. It is what I hope he becomes the greatest wide receiver of all time. But it's just, I think people pumped him up way too much.
Yeah. Dan, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate it. Says, when it comes to soda, my favorite sodas are Coke, but I also love having Dr. Pepper every now and then. When I have pizza and chicken wing parm, I must have Coke though. Yeah. Hey, listen, I like soda pretty much anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Afghanistan. Why'd you hide that? I wanted to bring this guy up because this guy Cowboys, Chris, with this Houston Astros logo. This guy's not a bandwagon fan. He said, Baddog and Chris are a wannabe Skip Battalis. Who's that? And Shannon Sharp, you guys ain't shit. This is a guy. Let's take a look at him. Let's see what he's doing on his channel. Let's
he's got a channel?
Oh, yeah. Let's take a look and see what he's doing on his channel. Oh, it doesn't have any content. He must be doing really well. We ain't shit, but that guy obviously is. That guy obviously has it going on. I'm sure his life is amazing. Can you imagine that that's your life? You go on someone's channel just to say they're not shit. Can you imagine when we have thousands of viewers every week? Can you imagine that? Can you imagine that's what you do to make yourself feel better about your situation?
Good for him, man. That's all. Whatever. It is what it is. I
just thought that was funny. We're a wannabe Skip Battalis and Shannon Sharp. I don't even know what the hell that means. I don't watch Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp. And I'm pretty sure neither one of us are anything like Skip Bayless.
I don't know. We just come on here and talk about the Giants. That's
right. So
we don't pretend to be Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp. I don't
know. But you're doing really good on your channel. Keep up the great work, ma'am. You're doing a good job. Abe, thank you for the super chat, man. Appreciate it. He says, remember Thomas was a bust? How'd that work out? I know. That's what I'm saying. I find the dynamic funny though. And I just thought about that when we were talking about Kadarius Toney, how some people have labeled Kayvon Thibodeau a bust already, but people will hold out all hope for Kadarius Toney. Kadarius Toney definitely has skills. You've seen
he's got the
filthy, but he can't get on the field.
Yeah. I want him to. I want him to be the greatest receiver of all time, and I hope he does, but to this point, he hasn't proven much.
Yeah. That's all right. It is what it is. I just find it amusing. And again, he's probably not going to play. His hamstring hurts, and like I said, every week it's something different with this guy. Who do you think plays wide receiver? Like, who takes Sterling Shepard's spot? Who do you think is going to get that call? Now, obviously, if Wan'Dale Robinson's healthy, it might be him, but
he's not playing this week.
No, I know. So who do you think gets the call there?
I think it's Richie James. I think Richie James is going to be the featured slot guy. Sills will still obviously be involved on the outside. Galladay's got to be involved.
Galladay. Okay, that's what I was getting at. I don't know who the third receiver would be. I know if you thought it'd be Galladay or Slate.
I mean, I don't know. It's hard. I'll go with Galladay just because Slayton hasn't really seen many targets at all. Yeah, that's all we got right now. So
why do you think we kept Darius Slayton? though? He was a $2 million cap hit. He hasn't seen the field. Why the hell didn't we just release him and keep a guy?
Well, he did restructure his deal, if you remember.
Oh, that's right. We did restructure.
I think he only got paid like $900,000. But I think the plan was, and I really believe this, I don't think Slayton was making this team.
Until Colin Johnson got hurt.
Yeah, because Colin Johnson got hurt. That's why they didn't restructure the deal until like a day before they had to make the roster, because after Colin Johnson got hurt. I think they projected Colin Johnson to make the team, and they were going to cut Darius Slayton or try to trade Darius Slayton. And then when Johnson got hurt, they decided, all right, let's see if Slayton will take a discount and come back.
Right. No, it's going to be, again, because we don't have a lot of wide receivers and our offensive line is very good. Against the Bears, definitely needs to be a heavy dose of Saquon. I don't think there's any question. Kassad, thank you for the super chat, brother. Appreciate you, my man. He says, any good quarterback coming out next year? We need one. Well, depends. Depends on where we're drafting. But guys you hear about, Bryce Young, CJ Stroud. Those are guys you hear about.
Will
Levis. I'm not a fan. He reminds me of Daniel Jones, honestly. No. Anthony Richardson's a guy here. And like I said, the guy that's caught my eye is Michael Penix from Washington. But we'll see. Michael Penix is not a top 10 quarterback. So if we're not picking top 10, maybe that's a guy they look at. I don't know. I don't know what Shane wants in his quarterback. You're not going to find a Josh Allen. They don't grow on trees. Yeah. So they must want a guy like him. That's kind of why I
think every team in the league should want a guy like him.
Well, that's true. But like as I'm saying, it's hard to, it's not easy to find those guys. They don't really exist. Amazing guy says, what do you remind me to? He doesn't have good pocket awareness. He's tall. He doesn't have the strongest arm. And he reminds me of Daniel Jones. He's got Daniel Jones type of ineptitude. Now, if he was drafted, because I did say this on Twitter, I definitely believe if Daboll was the coach and he drafted Daniel Jones, Jones would have been a lot better.
Of course.
That I can say. So Will Levis is a guy that they probably could take and make better. Daniel Jones had no favor. Yeah, multiple GMs, multiple head coaches, multiple linemen that sucked, terrible wide receivers, a running back that was beat up most of his career, and God knows how many offensive coordinators. They did him no favors. I've already seen an improvement as far as like his pocket awareness, his ability to move around. He still doesn't go deep, and he still makes some indecisive plays, and he checks down a lot. He still doesn't go through progressions. He's still got a one read type of thing, but he's better. And I think if he had 4 years of Daboll,
of course,
he'd be a lot better.
Yeah.
So perhaps that's the thing. Whoever they take as a quarterback, they will be able to mold in their system.
Yep.
And they have to get a quarterback that they believe fits their system. If they didn't believe Daniel Jones fit their system, I don't know why they would believe Will Levis fit their system. One thing I can say about Daniel Jones that Will Levis does not do is put mayonnaise in his coffee, which is absolutely disgusting. So that's a strike against him right there.
How would you do that?
Why would you put mayonnaise in anything?
Yeah.
I don't like it. Sonny, thank you, my friend. Appreciate it. Which GM is worse, Reese or Gettleman? Gettleman.
Oh, Gettleman.
Gettleman. Reese won us a championship.
Yeah.
Gettleman.
Reese wasn't great, but much better than Gettleman.
Reese was good at the beginning of his tenure.
In the beginning, yeah.
Gettleman was ass, and then more ass, and then a bigger ass, and then ass, and then he sucked. I mean, I don't know what else to say.
He was definitely Reese. Definitely Reese.
horrible. Reese was way better. Yeah. Ronald, thank you, my friend. Appreciate it. He says, I've been hot and cold on Jones for years. I feel bad that we ruined a guy who is the guy. So many great players never become great. A player's ability is as important as where they're drafted. That's a fact. That's a fact. It's true. They didn't do him any favors. I'll never sit here. Again, I'm not a big excuse guy. I'm not making excuses for Daniel Jones. But anybody that's looking at this from a realistic perspective knows he didn't have much of a chance here.
Yeah, let me read that again. I've been hot and cold on Jones for years. I feel bad we ruined the guy. How many great players never became great players? But yeah, I don't know if he would have been great or not. Maybe he'll still become great. But he definitely was set up to fail from the start. And yeah, there's a lot of quarterbacks or just a lot of players in general. You go back, look at their careers, and you say to yourself, what if that guy got put in a much better circumstance? How would it have turned out? And Daniel Jones may end up being one of those players. Because, I mean, Baddog, can you think, could the Giants have screwed up? And I know a lot of people I understand it. I've never been completely sold on Jones from the start. Okay.
Yeah.
But so I understand that people are gonna be like, oh, I'm not making excuses. It's just the facts. Could they have screwed up the upbringing of Jones any more than they did?
No.
Is it possible?
No, and even John Mara admitted that they screwed him up.
They had a veteran quarterback with Eli Manning that they brought back for $19 million.
Yep.
And they pulled him after 2 games. Okay. Should have played him for at least 6 more games. And let Daniel Jones sit and learn. So that's the first mistake, in my opinion. They draft Daniel Jones to fit the offense of the head coach that's coaching him at the time, and then they fire him after 1 year with Daniel Jones. Then they bring in Jason Garrett in a brand new offense.
Excuse me, Dr. Garrett.
Dr. Garrett. They draft him no wide receivers.
No linemen.
No line. No, yeah. Like, they couldn't have mismanaged the upbringing of Jones any worse than they did. It's like nearly impossible. Like, if you're doing like a history lesson on how to not manage your quarterback, they should teach what the New York Giants did to Daniel.
Yeah. Yes.
You could have done it worse.
No, they could not. They could not have messed it up more. They could not. You know?
Yeah.
But yeah. AV, thank you, my friend. Appreciate you, brother. He says, man, I'm absolutely addicted to Diet Coke. Yeah, me too. Coke Zero for me, but I had absolutely no clue Pepsi was as popular as it is, although we do love Dr. Pepper in Texas too. I like Dr. Pepper too. Coke definitely is a massive lead, 63 to 37. So Coke is definitely the more popular product. Without it, I mean, like I said, I will drink almost any soda as long as it's diet soda. I can't have regular sugar anymore because I'm so addicted to the aspartame or whatever's in this stuff. But yeah, I like Orange Crush. I like Dr. Pepper. I like A&W. I don't like Mountain Dew. I don't really like Mountain Dew. I like Sprite. Not a big ginger ale fan either.
I'm going to disagree with Matthew Stein, by the way. He says Reese gets no credit for 2011. Listen, as you know, I'm not the biggest Jerry Reese fan. I think he did a horrible job.
Who said he didn't get credit for 2000? He doesn't get credit for 2007, in my opinion.
Yeah, 2011, he deserves credit.
Absolutely.
I'm not saying he deserves 100% credit because there were still a lot of core pieces on that team that were Accorsi guys. But Reese was a part of the Accorsi regime too, right? So, but I mean, obviously Eli, basically the entire offensive line, Brandon Jacobs. Like there were definitely a lot of core pieces. Oshie Umenyiora, Justin Tuck, that were before Reese got there. But Victor Cruz, that's Reese. Hakeem Nicks, that's Reese.
Bradshaw,
that's Reese. The safety?
JPP.
JPP, of course. The safety. What's it? The free agent they picked up. Antro Roll.
Yep.
That's Reese. Mario Manningham, that's Reese. So even though he wasn't great, the center Boss, that's Reese. So I give him I think he 50% credit for 11 because I think a lot of the main pieces were still Accorsi, but Reese definitely had a lot to do with that. And then I'll say 10% for the first one because that was almost strictly Accorsi.
Yeah. So Independent Outsider, thank you for the super chat, man. Appreciate you. He says, best wishes to Tua Brutal. Yeah, I talked about that. We opened the show with that. That was scary. That was a scary sight to see. Hopefully he is okay. It sucks because he was really starting to come into his own. He was slinging it, man. So hopefully it's nothing serious. You hate to see anybody go down like that. That was just the way his hand, just like he couldn't move his hands.
Yeah.
Like they just stuck. Like
That
he
was
couldn't.
tonight or the other night.
So tonight when he landed, he laid down and his hands were just like that. Like he could not. His fingers were all just.
Jesus.
It was scary. Like I had tears in my eyes when I saw that happen because you don't know. It was obviously a neurological thing, and that's just that was really scary. Abe, thank you, my friend. Appreciate it. Sausage King of Chicago. He says, I really think DJ will be back on a cheap deal. One thing I'll also say, I like how people got into the soda thing tonight. That was pretty good. I mean, we are Giants fans. Obviously, they gave away a free medium Pepsi last year. So maybe that's why I think that's why Coke has such a big lead. Because the Giants gave away free medium Pepsis. The fan base is like, screw you, Coke. I think that's what it is. But I like all the comments about the soda. It's pretty good. He said, I really think DJ will be back in a cheap year. They will look to build up the roster before taking a cornerback. They have to go O-line as a top priority. If DJ will take a cheap deal, I can see it happening.
Yeah, it depends what we're picking, Abe. But I do think it's a possibility. I'll say that. I do think it's a possibility, depending on where we're picking and how they feel.
Yep. Patrick, thank you, brother. Appreciate it. He says, love Mo, and no closer today comes close, but prefer Diaz's entrance. Oh, Mo was the man. I mean, there'll never be another Mariano Rivera as long as you live.
Yeah, I think he's just saying Diaz's entrance music.
I get it. Yeah, I mean, it's his entrance music is original. Mo was, I mean, I love Enter Sandman. I mean, I listen to that at the gym all the time.
They're both great. I mean, it was iconic to see Mariano come out to that. So
yeah,
obviously, if you're a Yankee fan, you're going to say Mariano, and if you're a Met fan, you're going to say Diaz.
Yeah,
but yeah, and Diaz has been incredible this year. Diaz has had a Mo-like year. He's not Mo, but he's had a Mo-like year. He's been incredible this year. Hopefully, he can keep it up in the playoffs.
Yeah, that's what it matters.
Yeah,
that's one thing we do miss as Yankee fans. You know, I forgot who asked me earlier. It might have been John Kim. It said, you know, you worry about Cole in the closer role, something we didn't have to worry about. So I always say, I feel like Mariano Rivera was the most important piece to those championship teams because we've seen what Chapman's done. And Chapman was about as good as it got. He still was giving up game-winning homers to Jose Altuve, buzzer or no buzzer. He hung a changeup, but Chapman's gotten beat in the playoffs. Mariano got beat once in his entire career. ERA was under 1. It's the lowest ERA in the history of postseason.
Mariano's the greatest Yankee I've ever seen.
He's the greatest Yankee I've ever seen because I think when I did my Yankee top 10, he's 5th. The other 4 I never saw play. You know, Ruth, Mantle, Gehrig, DiMaggio. I think those are the best 4.
You had Mariano over Berra?
Huh?
You had him over Yogi Berra?
Yes.
That's close.
Yep. I had him over Berra because I think that even though Berra won 10 championships.
He won 3 MVPs too, didn't he?
Yeah. I just think Mariano Rivera meant so much to the Yankees. Just the things that he was able to do. You always knew the game was over.
No, you can. I think I have him 6th. I have Berra 5 and him 6th, but you could definitely argue the other way.
Yeah. Ronald, thank you, my friend. Appreciate it. He says, if Jones looks like he did Monday night for the remainder of the season, would you want him on a 2-year deal? Not with the Giants, would you? Chris mentioned that earlier, Ronald, about
where am I picking?
What's that?
Where am I picking? That's the
question. That's true too.
Like if I'm picking 5th, Ronald, I'm taking a quarterback.
That's true too.
If I'm picking 16th, I'm probably gonna roll with Jones for another year. That's just me, unless I'm absolutely enamored with a quarterback and I think they're the next greatest thing and I could trade up to get them. Then you got to do it. Yeah. But outside of that, I think I roll them on a cheap deal if I'm in like the 16 to 20 range. But if I'm picking top 5, top 6, I'm starting over. I'm getting a quarterback.
Yeah. MP is young because he said, who's the greatest Giant you've ever seen? He said, honestly, mine is Saquon Barkley. So he's very young, if that's the best.
Greatest Giant?
He's Lawrence Taylor. I mean,
I'm not going to count him for me. Yeah. It's got to be Strahan for me. It's got to be Strahan for me. It's Strahan.
It's definitely LT for me. I mean, he's the greatest defensive player ever. So
Strahan for me.
But I feel bad for a young fan that's never seen the Giants be good. if Saquon Barkley's the best player you've ever seen, you didn't see Eli Manning in his career, and obviously missed all the good times that we had when we were a really good team. And I'm hoping for younger fans that you do get to experience that. I got very lucky when I started watching the Giants. They were right at the preface of going to, they started making the playoffs in 84, which is when I started watching them. And I got a nice ride for 27 years of them being ultra competitive, winning 4 Super Bowls. And now last 10 years have been like what my dad experienced growing up, where they were really bad for 19 straight years, from 1964 to 1983. Hopefully it doesn't go 19 freaking years. It's been 10. 10's long enough. So I'm hoping that the younger fans get to experience what we've been able to experience as older fans, and, see a championship. So
Be nice.
It'll be nice for all of us. I would experience a 5th championship. I'm greedy. I have no problem.
I see MP97 saying 26 is a generational talent. I agree with you.
Yeah, he's good, man.
I agree with you.
He's definitely the most talented running back we've ever had.
Like MP,
Tiki's the best running back, but Tiki didn't have the talent of Saquon.
The definition of generational to me is a guy that does not come around every so often. And he's one of those players. He just so happens to play running back, which is not the ideal position to have a generational player in the NFL because they have a short shelf life. But yeah, I agree with you. I think he's one of the most talented running backs, just pure talent that I've seen.
Yeah,
he's that good. He's just dealt with injuries.
He is an elite talent for sure.
Yeah.
Big Moo, thank you. Moo. He says everyone expects DJ to turn into Josh Allen overnight because of Daboll, but took Allen years to develop. Yeah, he's not. Listen, he's not going to. People that compare him to Josh Allen, you got to watch the 2 quarterbacks play. Daniel Jones cannot do things that Josh Allen does. Nobody can do things that Josh Allen does.
Josh Allen's generational.
Right, that's a generational talent.
That's a generational talent.
Pat Mahomes is a
generational Jones when people make that comparison.
What's that?
It's not fair to Jones when people make that
Alex Smith. I thought was the best comparison I could come up with. And Alex Smith was a winner in the NFL. Did he have the greatest skills? No, but he was good enough to win 11, 12 games every year after the beginning of his career. That's the thing. You paired Alex Smith up with a good offensive coordinator, a good head coach, he became really good. Daniel Jones may not have the opportunity to do that here with the New York Giants, but he may be able to do it somewhere else. Only time will tell.
Yeah.
Makai, thank you, brother. Appreciate it. He says, getting rid of Saquon will crush me. Went through it once with my favorite athlete of all time, Odell Beckham. I just don't think that's the best interest for us. Again, as fans, it might not. But what's the best interest for the Giants? And sometimes you got to put your player fandom aside and just say what's best for the team. And we'll find out, Makai. I mean, I don't know what Shane's plan is with Saquon. What I'm saying is if they don't plan on giving him a long-term deal and only walking away with a compensatory pick in 2024, which is probably going to be about 110th overall, and you can get a 2nd round and a 5th round for him, it might be in the best interest of the Giants to do it if Saquon's not coming back here anyway. Now, if the Giants think he's in future plans past 2023, then it doesn't make any sense to trade him. Just give him the money.
Yeah.
We'll see. I don't know.
We'll find out.
Abe Froman, thank you, my friend. He says, hate to say it, but Saquon Barkley will never be as good as Tiki. Due to injuries, not talent, but Tiki was awesome. Tiki's the best. I was saying Tiki wasn't as talented as Barkley, but by far the best running back we've ever. Should be in Hall of Fame.
Yeah, Tiki, and by the way, Tiki Barber was very talented. It just wasn't, in terms of just talent, wasn't Saquon. And like you said, because of injuries, it's going to be hard for him to match Tiki. I mean, Tiki had 3 years where he had over 2,000 scrimmage yards.
Yeah, and 2 of them were the last 2 years of his career.
Yeah, Tiki Barber was awesome.
Why Tiki's not in the Hall of Fame is beyond me.
He should be.
He should be in the Hall of Fame. He had 10,000 yards rushing. He had 5,000 yards receiving. He averaged almost 5 yards a carry. Averaged 4.7 yards a carry. He did all this. He played 10 years in the NFL. In the first 3 years, he wasn't a starter. Yeah. So how the hell Tiki Barber is not a Hall of Famer is an absolute, it's criminal. The man belongs in a damn Hall of Fame.
I'm looking at it now. He had about 2,100 scrimmage yards his last year of his career. He had almost 2,400 scrimmage yards, his second to last year of his career.
He rushed for 1,860 yards. In the last 2 years, he rushed for over 3,500 yards combined. He rushed for 1,860 and 1,662 his last 2 years, if I'm not mistaken.
His last 3 years, he had over 2,000 scrimmage yards. His last
That's
3 years. Now, Coughlin definitely abused him, but he was a beast, though, man. He was a beast. He was the entire offense for those teams, and the thing is, if he played that one extra year, he's a Hall of Famer. Because even if we didn't win the Super Bowl, if he stayed, which we will never know if we would have, because it might have changed the running back by committee approach, and that may have been more effective. Who knows? And maybe Eli became a better quarterback once Tiki left. Some people speculated that, but even if he had another year of 2,000 scrimmage yards, he's making the Hall of Fame. And the fact that he retired, I think that's the only reason he's not in. But you look at a guy like Terrell Davis. How is Terrell Davis in and Tiki Barber's not?
He won 2 Super Bowls. This is the only thing I can think of.
Yeah, and he was great. Don't get me wrong, but the guy played 4 years?
I know. Tiki's a Hall of Famer. He's a Hall of Famer. You don't need to like what Tiki said about Eli. You don't need it. Tiki says some stupid thing. We all say stupid things. But, Tiki is a freaking Hall of Famer. I don't know how, I don't understand how somebody, what just happened there? I don't understand why he's not. I don't get it. Luke, thank you for the super chat, man. Appreciate it. Says this is a perfect time to draft a quarterback. Now that we have the right coaching staff, I'd love to have CJ Stroud, but Bryce Young is our guy. We might not be drafted high enough to get Bryce Young.
We'll see what we're picking, Luke. And we won't know until the draft gets here.
Yeah.
So we'll see. You're gonna know before the draft if we're taking a quarterback because Jones is the agent. So you're gonna know before the draft.
This is true. Michael, thank you, my friend. Appreciate it. Says Saquon got the team by the balls. Gotta pay or trade him. Odell all over again. Well, Odell was paid. The Giants did pay Odell.
Yeah.
And then they traded him a year into the contract. Mara's grandson might kill him this time. Should have optioned Jones.
I don't think you should option Jones because you would have to still commit $20 million, I think it was, or $21 million before the year started. And you could still have a contract, Michael, where you only pay him that much probably, even if he has a pretty good year this year, where you could structure it in a way where you only go $20 million against the cap and you could cut him the next year where it's not a huge dead cap it. So, no, I don't think they should have, especially coming off the injury he was. I don't think they should have optioned Jones.
Yeah. No, Mike. Yeah, Tiki's words are not keeping around. I'm just saying people don't need to like Tiki because of what he said, but the guy was a Hall of Fame talent. That's what I was getting at when I said you don't need to like what he said. Tiki's a Hall of Famer. He belongs in the Hall of Fame. Tyler, thank you, my friend. Appreciate it. He says, I would personally go all out and to draft JSN. I'm trying to think who that is.
JSN?
JSN.
Oh, is that the wide receiver from Ohio State? I think it's the wide receiver from Ohio State.
It could be. It could be.
Sure, because he's got a weird name. Jack. Yeah, it's the wide receiver from Ohio State.
Gotcha. Well, again, if we're picking in the middle of the draft, middle of the first round, that might be something. We definitely we need a lot of pieces.
He's going earlier than the middle first round.
Yeah, we need a lot of pieces.
From at least the drafts have them going top 5.
We have a long ways to go this year. We got a game against the Bears on Sunday. We should be able to win this game and move to 3-1. So it is funny, I saw amazing guys say we're 2-1 and we're going to the playoffs. We're 2-1. I'm not saying we're going to the playoffs. I didn't predict that. I'm still not predicting it because there are many holes in this team. There are winnable games, however. So I guess when you're talking about the draft, it's not because we're just expecting to be terrible. Maybe some people do expect us to be terrible and still only win 4 games. I expect better. But we have a lot of things going on. We don't have any talent, and we're looking at losing both of our quarterback and our running back. They're both free agents at the end of the year. So I guess what people are trying to figure out is where the hell are we going? What direction do we go in? So it's fun to speculate all the time, but it's impossible to know what the hell we're going to do. So
and we're gonna have plenty of time to speculate.
Yeah, we will.
So let's wait till we have a better picture of what where we're headed.
Yeah. I think part of it was all the Saquon Barkley talk from Boomer
Yeah.
Esiason that kind of got it started. But you mentioned it, and we talked about it. If we were 2-5 or 2-6 and looked bad, that he probably would be traded, and it would just there's
I
no
don't even
reason
know
to,
if he probably would be traded, but it ups the probability.
right.
Yeah.
Abe, thank you, my friend. Appreciate this. In a weird way, I think Tiki helped Eli's career by saying what he said. It gave Eli extra motivation to get that next step. It may have. It
Definitely, man.
may have, made Eli more motivated. Although he did not have a good statistical season in 2007. He led the
Yeah.
league in interceptions and he threw 23 touchdowns. But when he got into the postseason, his legend was made. I've said this all the time. If you play in New York, you could have bad games, but if you perform when it matters most, everybody forgets about that. You win here, that's all they care about. In the same token, you could have the greatest statistical career ever, and if you don't win, you're going to say he was great. But the Tiki was awesome. Never won a Super Bowl.
Eli Manning's playoff run is, for me as a fan, I'm not saying he's better than certain quarterbacks because of this, but for me as an individual fan, what he did in one playoff run, let alone two, is worth 5 MVP awards. Don't care about MVP awards. I care about
that's an individual award, and that does not matter.
And the way in which he did it. That's why I love him to death.
That's all that matters.
That's why I love him
That's
to death.
it. Like I said,
in 50 years, people aren't going to be talking about Drew Brees' MVP awards. They're going to be talking, Dan Marino's MVP awards. They're going to be talking about Eli Manning's, incredible run to the Super Bowl. So
who's going to talk about? Philip Rivers was a great quarterback, but he never won anything.
Yeah,
Philip Rivers never even got to a Super Bowl. Right. So there's a lot of those guys. Jim Kelly. He was awesome. He lost 4 Super Bowls. I mean, that's what people talk about. So to Aaron Rodgers, for as great as Aaron Rodgers is, he won once. So I'd rather have a guy that has the statistics Eli did and won 2 Super Bowls over a guy that had statistics Aaron Rodgers did and won 1. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah.
But listen, guys, we went a little over. It's 12:15. This is a Thursday. I do have to get up in the morning.
I do too. Yeah, I got to get
blows. Oh, welcome to my world. That's right. You get used to it after a while. A lot of coffee, Chris.
Yeah, I drink 4 cups a day now.
A lot of coffee. It's good. Black coffee. Perfect.
I've been drinking black coffee.
There you go. That works every time. But you guys and girls are amazing. We always appreciate you being here. Hit the thumbs up. Yeah, we almost got 350 likes, which is cool. We're 2 away from that. Again, if you haven't subscribed to this channel, make sure you do. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, ring the bell. Most importantly, make sure you go into the link. Chris's link is there. We'll be doing this show on his channel next week. Like I said, depends if he goes to the game or not. Most likely he's going, but if he's at the game, I'll be doing the game solo. Next 2 weeks will be on his channel. If he doesn't go to the game, we'll do the Bears over there. Just keep an eye on the community notes.
Yeah.
You'll know. You're subscribed to the channel. You'll know what channel it's going to be.
Subscribe to both channels. You'll know. But as long as it's not him on, it's more my brother than me. I would go no matter what. But my brother wants to go to the game with me, and he's like, if it's going to be porn, I'd rather wait, which I get.
Yeah. Listen, man, you don't want to be miserable. You don't want to pay all that money and then sit there and be drenched and get sick.
Yeah.
And
So that's why I was like, all right, we'll hold off. We'll wait to see the weather report, and I'll probably know by Saturday.
Right. But regardless, next week this show will be on Chris's channel, and hopefully we're talking about a victory and getting ready for the game in London against Green Bay. So that'll be a nice early day for all of us. But Chris, as always, thank you for coming on the channel, man. I appreciate it. And I know you did double duty tonight, so appreciate that too. And
yeah, doing double duty tomorrow too. I'm going to be live at 5 with Mike for our weekly show. And then we'll be doing the Met game. So if you're a baseball fan, come on by for that. Looking forward to that. But yeah, man, always have fun doing this. See JD Sports Talks in the chat. He's awesome. Always did a great show with him last week, man. He did a great job. But I always have fun coming on here with you, talking Giants, getting ready for the big game on Sunday. Hopefully the New York Giants come out with a win. But regardless, we appreciate you guys. That's the most important thing, man.
That's
you guys
right.
And without you guys, the show is irrelevant. You guys,
Yeah, exactly.
you guys are our co-hosts. We say it all the time. You guys make this show go. You guys make this show fun. We feed off of you, and
That's right.
thank you. And Baddog, of course, thanks for having me on.
Yeah. This show wouldn't be in its 5th season without you guys and girls. That's an absolute fact. Abe Froman, thank you, my friend. He says, Chris, I'll be at the game.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you right now, Abe. If you're gonna, I don't know what time you're getting there. If I'm gonna go, which I'm like 90% going, unless it's bad rain. I'm gonna be in lot L16 or 17. I'm going to Justin Pennick's tailgate. So that's where he parks. That's where he tailgates. He's either. I think he said it's like between L16, L17. So lot L. That's where I'm gonna be in either 16 or 17. Yeah. And so come over there, meet me if you're there. I'm gonna get there at like 8:30 in the morning because he told me he gets there at 8 a.m. when the gates open. So I'm like, all right, I'll get there, hang out with you guys 4 or 5 hours before the game. So if you guys are in the area, you're going to the game, come say hello.
There you go.
There you go.
All righty. So we're going to get out of here, guys, for the Entertainer Talking Sports. It is the Bad Diggy Dizzle. Have a great night, everybody. And we gone.